think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our love tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like a movie, my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Killing time, we got nowhere to be. You're sending messages I can't ignore. No contemplating, come here close to me. I'm bored at home, can't leave the house no more. But I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm losing my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. You, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quarantine, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart.
Following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's showtime! All of the
We're out cruising the YouTube streets the other night. We have a plan. Alice, you were with us too.
Yes, I was. I was just going to say I was there too.
And I've cruised the YouTube streets before when I went to the Real Gypsy's Soul, her channel. She's awesome, man. If you haven't checked out the Real Gypsy Soul, she has a channel. She'll make you laugh. She's got that southern, you know those southern.
Yeah, and I just realized that is Vegas you're showing.
It is Vegas. Yep. Home. That's our hometown. She's one of those gals who remind me that, like, with a southern accent, who would be baking an apple pie and tell you all about it and how to bake it with what ingredients and stuff.
The Real Gypsy Soul.
How y'all doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing real good.
Remember, if you think they're onto you, give us the signal. You remember the signal? That's right.
Let's go. Let's go. Yo, thank you for that, bro. I fucking love you, bro.
Fun. Fuck.
Good morning. There's only 3 of us in here. I don't like it like that sometimes. I see there's like 80 people live, but if I don't get this out now, I won't get to, because I've got other responsibilities. Little kiddies are going back to school, and I've got laundry to do, food to cook, lunches to pack. I got things I got to do. So those now 4 people are here. Thank you for coming. That's awesome. So I'm gonna give it a few minutes and see if some more people want to come on in, and we'll just watch a couple of these clips that I've made that are kind of funny. I think they're funny. I think they're funny. Oh yeah, by the way, if I ever post anything that you don't want me to have up, email me, and I'm cool like that. I'll take it down. And I never want to. I'm all for freedom of speech, right? Freedom. I'm all for freedom. And if you ever watch any of my stuff and use it, uh, I don't care. I'm good with that. I don't strike people. I want you to do that. As Constance and I have, gone back a day or two, where that's sort of what we kind of became friends doing, was debating topics. And so, yeah, I got no problem with that. People are like, "Why don't you strike them? Why don't you strike them? Strike them." Why would I do that? I'm not going to go to court. Are they going to go to court? No. So why? Why bother? Nah, I'll just move on with my day. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like doing paperwork anyway. So I'm cool like that. Yeah. So that's what this was about at the beginning of the show. You 7 people that are just now coming in. If you didn't see it, I'm gonna replay it real quick. Okay. So let's get going, right?
Bada bing, bada boom. Get over here. Get out of here.
Get out of here is how I feel about the fake outrage. This tit tat and clutch and pearls. I thought I had already touched this subject the other day, but I'm going to reiterate it today. Get over yourself. You know, get over yourself. Really? Are you serious? If you were to have grown up in, say, the Bronx, words would not hurt you. Okay. And if you come to the internet at all, whether it be Facebook, any freaking social media, this is why parents pull children off social media, is because this is the most abusive place you'll probably get, unless you get kidnapped. So don't come here if you are, offended with words. Get real. Okay. Get real. You have no business being in any kind of social media at all. And people don't have class anymore. That went out back in the 90s. And then people started showing up in their Hello Kitty pajamas at Walmart. Okay. There's no class in America anymore. So I don't want to hear it. Oh, you should never say that. Yeah. Yeah. People will now. I'm over the shock factor years ago. When people were getting up on, MTV and showing their ass, which probably Prince. I think Prince may have been one of the first ones who showed his ass, literally bare assed. It's like, okay, I'm over outrage. I got over outraged when Madonna was doing weird stuff. So, I'm over, like, I can't believe they said that. Well, believe it. Okay. That's my comeback. When people have said to me, I didn't know you was like that. Well, now you know. Now you know. So take note. And I don't take any shit. So I don't care who you are. And it's just kind of where I'm at 53 years old. I don't give a fuck. Okay. I really don't. I so don't. So, I'm probably never ever going to meet you people ever in my life. You'll never meet me. So what does it really matter? Right? Our opinions, right? Of each other. What does it matter? You know, you're not coming to my wedding, right? So as far as I'm concerned, it's like, get it out, so it's not pinned up, right? Because when it's pinned up, what happens then? And to me, it's just phony baloney. It's phony baloney. And getting back to the issue with the 80s video, dude, you were supposed to have been a semi-pro wrestler. Is that not right? And you're offended by a George Michael freedom video after you berated me in Discord? Are you for real, dude? Get real. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And nobody else does. Y'all sound silly. A video. I'm going to defend myself. And that was the most basic way. I mean, are you serious? And I tagged my friends. Yeah. So, and those that are offended that I have a following, get over it. Who do you think click subscribe, weirdos? You know? I mean, get real. It's bizarre the way y'all talk. The things that you say to me, it's bizarre. You know? And it's phony. It's fake. It's phony baloney because you're not outraged by anything that Jimbo is saying. You're not outraged by anything Kemper is saying. And Kemper, this is what I got to say to you. People say that you're taking all this out on us because you were abused as a child. You're not the only one who had someone come in on you in the bedroom when you were a child. You are not the only one. So you taking it out on everybody? Well, guess what? We get to take it out on you too. Okay? You're not the only one who got walked in on and was violated. You're not the only one. Okay? We've all been through a tragedy. Get over it. We all had to. And then we had to live amongst each other in society in a civilized way. I'm not going to be civil to you if you've not been civil to me. And when he told everybody that night after I went to him and my husband went to him and told him chill on the body shaming, it wasn't just fat. I mean, you know, it's not just fat people he was berating. If you're thin, you're a crackhead. Oh, you got to be on meth if you're thin, or you're a skank. So get over the fucking. Are you serious? A George Michael video is what you are. That's what you're gonna go down for. That's what you're gonna go down in flames for. A freedom video. Are you serious? That's what you're gonna go to the mountain and preach on. Well, she posted that George Michael video. You know, the one that says freedom. Are you serious? I felt free in the moment. So I was celebrating in that moment. I thought it was sort of egocentric that you made it about yourself. It could have just been feeling freedom of not having to carry the weight of a wrench. Pumping up everybody when everyone's wanting to fall the fuck asleep. It's hard to keep quick wit in chat when I mean, come on, guys. Can y'all seriously wake up? Wake up. And you're not even reading your chat. You're not talking to people in your chat. You're sitting there talking to each other about sports. Couldn't y'all do that before the show? Okay, I'm going to drop a link now. I've preached. Y'all have y'all's opportunity. Y'all do y'all's preaching now, okay? Y'all come on up and y'all tell me how you feel about it. It's a bunch of bullshit. I'm not outraged. Get over it. Get over, I'm not outraged. Good to see you, Cool Gamer and Chaotic Teresa, Manchester Vicky. Good to see you guys. She says, we have the pajama wearing shoppers in the UK too. Yeah, people just don't give a shit anymore. So I don't. So don't get outraged at me. I'm color. That's why this is what my name is now on here. Let me I'm a realist. I'm a realist. Okay, I'm a realist. I'll toss around a conspiracy idea because it's fun, but I tend to not believe it ever. But it's fun to talk about it. It's fun to throw it around. Ain't like we got anything else to do. We could just sit and watch each other grow older over there at the stand, I guess. I mean, get real, people. Wake the fuck up. Write a damn show. And that doesn't mean get up and scream at people and threaten them with your crooked ass. They live irrelevant lives. That's why they talk about others or me and my silver spoon. Yeah, they're mad that you're wealthy, chaotic. What? Are you serious? So they're sitting in their hotel rooms watching you decorate your mansion. Turn the channel. Turn the channel and turn it to, Crack Rock City, whatever. I'm just over it. It's phony baloney. It's bullshit. Fake outrage. I'm over it. How dare you? Well, I dared. you know, whenever a boyfriend would knock the hell out of me and I would call the law and lock his ass up, they'd say, "Well, I didn't think you was like that." Well, now you know. Now you know. Now you know. I can't believe you're like that. Well, believe it. And when I ain't done shit to you, but I can. And everyone wants me to be scared and fear Nicolina. How do y'all know Nicolina shouldn't fear me? Y'all aren't giving me and Sarah much credit when y'all do that. How do y'all don't know our past. You don't know what me and Sarah are capable of. How do you know that we're not underdogs? We might not be underdogs. We got 10-year on her. So quit taunting us with that, because it doesn't scare us at all. We decided with the females, we wanted to be with the strong females that are playing the same bullshit that the men are. We're just pissed off. We're not going to take it anymore, right?
Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you? Relax. Everything's going to be. I love your shirt.
Well, you know me.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you.
You too.
What does it say all the way? I only see relax. Everything will be. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It'll be okay.
Oh.
It'll be okay, yeah. Gypsy.
He just pissed me off.
Well,
I want to throw a bagel at him.
This is what I've learned about YouTube. If you don't stand up for yourself,
I ain't no dish rag. I ain't never been.
Yeah, it will cause a domino effect, and everybody will think that they can come at you.
Yeah, fuck off.
So that's right. Yeah. That's
and
what I
taunting
said.
Us and taunting us. Oh, she's gonna do this and she's gonna do that. Well, the fuck you don't do back. Give us some credit.
When I talk, oh my gosh, when I did my live and I talked about the narcissist and the flying monkeys.
Yes.
You would have thought
you understand. You understand.
you would have thought that I was calling people out by name. There were people who were like, "Oh, she hurt my feelings. She was talking about me." And I even went back to my live to look. I had never mentioned that person's name. I'm like, if the shoe fits, you wear it.
They'll take posts, they'll take comments, all personal. It's like, why are you even here? You got to come here with some sort of ironclad, or you're not going to make it.
Well, this is my thing. If somebody can't come to you like an adult, because all of our channels are not for kids. We've all stated that.
Right.
So quit. This is what gets me. These people will think that they have to defend a grown adult over some petty shit, and it's like kindergarten telephone. Right. See what we can mess up to cause a big drama. But girl, let me tell you, I just tell them to.
I do too.
For sure. I get this out.
I unfortunately, through the course of life, I am a lot more patient than I used to be, because I want to make sure that this is what I'm seeing before I do. Right. And so I usually will ask other friends around me, is this how you perceive it? Because bipolar disorder is all about perception.
Right.
and not seeing things exactly the way they are.
Right.
And so, not in a hallucinatory way, but in a delusional way. And I'm not in denial about that at all. I
Right.
own
Right.
that, and I
Right.
know that I have to battle that. And so
And
I'll ask my friends or confidants or people that I respect, is this how you are perceiving it? And when they agree with me, then I stand up for myself. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
not
And
having low self-esteem. That's just respecting the fact that I know I'm mentally ill and I know what
well,
I'm dealing with.
right. Right. And believe it or not, um, I've got like, I think like bipolar 1 or something. A really low sense of bipolar. And after years of dealing with it, it's like it
It winds
wisens
you
you
through.
up.
Yeah.
It wisens you up
Oh,
to
yes.
how people, because this
Oh,
is
yes. Just you mean like the whole human response to things and yes, absolutely. It's
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I'm all
because
about psychology.
yeah, well, because you get to a point where, when things are going really good for you, and if you get a little angry about something, they will throw it up. That's your bipolar. I'm like, oh, hell no, it ain't my bipolar. I'm mad because you pissed me off. Right. So
Mhm.
it is a fine line there that people, will push you and push you and push you. But
Yeah.
after all these years, I don't even really take even medication for it anymore.
You
But
know,
I,
and to be totally honest, I'm not one of those people who wants to take them down and wants them off the platform. I want them to be successful.
right,
And hell, if using my shit gets you pumping again, more power to you. You were
right,
my friend at one time. I want to
right,
see you succeed, even if we're not on friendly terms, I still want to see people succeed. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And
And
so I'm not like we got to take them out. That's never going to be in my DNA. And
well,
so then
see,
as an American, and my husband being military, my dad being military, my brother being military, I respect our freedom of speech, and I
right,
would never want to silence someone. I hated like being put in Facebook jail. I don't think it
right.
happened but one time to me, but my friends, it happened a lot. And to me, that's the same thing, censorship. And
Well,
we don't ever want to start censorship. Go ahead.
I was in the army too, and I just don't talk about it.
Thank you for your
I
service.
Well, thank you, but I just got to a point. There were not a lot of that. I had some really good things happen while I was in the military, but I had a lot of bad things happen when I was in the military. And when I went in, about it was like 84, beginning of 85, there was a lot of uh, harassment going on. I'll word it like that. And it was really hard for me, very hard for me.
Right.
Um, but these people, it's like they attack you over the stupidest things. And
Right.
on my channel, I'm always, oh, go watch this person. I really like this person. And it seems like the people that I try to recommend their channel and different things like that are the ones that want to come after me. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, one thing I remember Ernie said a year and a half ago when people were making clip channels, it may have been a year ago, and he was starting to become copacetic with rap, and
Right,
not friendly, but they were respecting that each other was what they were, a clip channel, and then Ernie was whatever he was. And so he said to him one day, he said, I don't care that you make clips of me, because every time you do, my what you call it grows,
right,
his subs would grow. And in a way, it was like, and someone sent me a message not long ago that said, don't look at clip channels as a bad thing, because even like bad press gets your name out there. Because
Exactly.
even though someone is dogging you in that particular clip, they might hear you and think, well, I want to get the other side of the story. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, that's
And
exactly
then,
it.
and so it's not always a bad thing, you know?
No, it's not. And I think that that's the way it should be played. But you have to, what happens is you got to be real careful that what you're actually talking about isn't taken way out of context.
Right, right.
Because, I'll give you an example real quick and then I'll leave you alone. But,
You're fine.
lip locked in that book, right?
Mhm.
And so she did whatever she did to the book. Well, I defended her on how she felt getting a copyright strike. I didn't defend her on the book. I didn't even get the book or whatever. The guy who wrote the book with Summerwell's name in it. And
Tim
but
Mullins.
no, it was that I call him Preacher Man.
David Dodson.
No, this other preacher wrote a book about
Okay.
but what he did was he used information from YouTubers. He had no facts. He never
Right.
spoke to the family or anything. So anyhow, I defended her on her feelings about
Hey,
getting
everybody coming in. This
about
is Remain Calm on panel here.
hey everybody.
Southern Girl, Sweet Robin.
So
Hey, thank y'all for coming.
I kind of protected Lip Lock for how she felt about the copyright strike. Well, next thing I know, I'm getting attacked.
Right.
And I'm being told I bought her the book, which I didn't really care about that. But what really made me mad was when this person said, why don't you just get an American flag and burn it too? And that pissed me off because I thought, you know what? I don't talk about being in the military, but I was in the military. I did my time for our country. What have you done but set up here on your YouTube channel trying to make yourself look like you're freaking, a great person?
Right.
You know, I was still nice about it. I didn't really go after that person. I was like, I just told people that shows you exactly what type of person that person is, right?
Right.
It shows.
Hey, everybody coming in. Randomly, Ashley, Kells, Rockin' Robin, Amber. Let's see. Rockin' Robin. No patience for stupid. Nicolina, your boy, Roy Boy. Southern
Hey,
Girls,
Nicolina
Stitches, Peachy. Good to see y'all. You Miss
and
Fletcher,
Robin.
Teresa, and Stitches. This
Well,
is Remain Calm.
I'm going to say this because Nicolina's in here. Okay. I know a lot of people go after Lips and stuff, and I don't care. You guys go after her all you want. The only reason that I haven't really talked about what went on with that situation is because when I'm hearing other people's stories, mine don't even come close to that. My stuff with her was petty compared to everybody else.
Yeah, so you got lambasted for a book.
Yeah, they tried to say that I bought this book and I sent it to Lip Lock so she could tear it up, and she ended up burning the book. But it was her book. She got it from a different sub. But but because I defended her on how she might be feeling about getting a copyright strike, they automatically, I was to blame for all of it. And they didn't even say anything to Lip Locked about it. They just started in on me.
Right.
So I did a live and told them to F off about 1,000 times. And I told him, you want to come and talk to me like a human being?
Right.
I will have a discussion with you. But, I'm not. They kept telling me I dirty deleted my live because I didn't totally delete it. But I was like, why should I show it to you? If you would have came to me like an adult, I would have been like, hey, I'll re-release it so you can hear what I said. but they
Yeah.
didn't want to do that. They just wanted to come in and, do their little narcissistic flying monkey stuff. And I was like,
Right.
F up. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But let me tell you, Gypsy, some of these people surrounding themselves in the Summer Wells case need to take a break, I think.
Yeah.
Because
Boy, has that gotten out of control again.
It has
Holy
gotten.
cow.
Oh my gosh. And, they've got the satin is coming on somebody's channel and breathing. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Are you
stop it.
serious?
I'm serious. There's and I hate to even say her channel. Let me see if I can remember it because I call her Cow Patty Lady. It's
Okay.
Crazy Critters on the Farm or something.
Yeah, okay. Daisy. Yeah, I know what you mean. I can never
Yeah.
remember it either, but it's Daisy, the cow lady. Yeah.
They just had somebody.
I think it was Justin did a parody, right?
Yes, he's hilarious.
That's so funny.
But supposedly Satin came into back chat and was growling and stuff. And then there was a woman, I don't know her. I'm not saying nothing bad about this woman. But it's hilarious that this other woman started speaking in tongues and stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. When you popped up in Knowledge's Powers.
Yeah, they need to rig a spirit box.
Oh,
I'm coming for you. Like in what is that? The Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah, Nicolina's come on my channel too. Lips has been up there. She'll run. She runs from Nicolina.
Does she?
Yeah, I'm like, girl, why don't if you got something to say to her, say it.
Right.
But I'm serious.
Is that a troll name?
This guy was going. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah. You're right, Amber. I agree.
It is craziness.
Yeah. I think he's more of a entertainer, I guess, more than a journalist. Now, I mean, I know that everyone has their opinion about JLR, but don't y'all think that he's redeemed himself now? I mean, my gosh, he's like out there every day covering and pounding. It just seems like we get a lot more information from him than anybody else.
I agree.
That's just my opinion. Yeah.
I agree.
And I know everybody has their opinion about him, as far as personally goes. But I think as professionally, I think that he's been doing a really good comeback story,
Well, with me, I don't really it's not my business about these people's personal lives. The only way that I know about somebody's personal life on YouTube is by what they show and tell. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not in their houses. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And,
I don't want to be either. I don't want to be. I don't want to know what goes on in their house.
Yeah, me neither.
I really don't,
But we all kind of have our classifications, genres, we've got true crime, we've got the drama, we got this and that. And, I'm the type of person, I watch all kinds of different channels. I don't keep myself with just some of them. I'm sorry. Some of y'all ain't true crime, okay?
Right. I haven't been in a while. I'm going to tell you why. These last few children's cases wiped me out emotionally. And I was like, I need to do some comedy. I need to do some satire. I need to do something else because that just is it. You know what I mean?
I know. That's why I kind of did a couple.
I don't feel like it was making any kind of difference either. I'd rather make people laugh.
It really wasn't making a difference on what some of these people were doing. And the sad fact of the matter is that these people know that their subs can be, how should I say this? They can get them into an emotional frenzy over what they're talking about. And I watched from the very beginning everything I could about Summer, and there would be people in these chats saying, oh, my heart is hurting, or something. And I'm like, why are you telling people in chat? They don't even know you. Call 911. Right?
Yeah.
It was just getting out of hand.
Well, this
Just
is what
getting out
I'd
of
like
hand.
to know, Kels. You're saying that as you're talking about Connie's been going for 14 hours. I want to know. To me, this is mania. That's
Yeah,
that's what I'm like when I'm manic.
Yep,
And
sounds like manic. Yeah.
you know, as I said before, we were friends before, not really off the platform, but I enjoyed her, you know, spar, a verbal spar. And, you know, I guess you know, I'm concerned, you know, this can't, I know that people can take this way too seriously because me and Sarah did a year ago when we really believed that Ernie was, I'm going to tell you why I believed it. I was new to this platform. McDonough featured him one night. He got up on his panel and talked about Predator Hunter Nation, and I believed him. And so, you know, McDonough being ex FBI, I figured, well, hell, he's promoting the guy. He must be real. And then I never watched the trial. I never watched it. It looked boring to me, so I never watched it. I mean, I don't like watching that kind of footage. I like, you know, listening to it afterwards, you know, getting the recap. But sitting there listening to the day in and day out, I'll fall asleep. I can't hold my attention. It's, you know, not my fault.
Right.
But and so I didn't know some of the things that came out in trial about the LARPing type activity that he partakes in, where he is like going through kind of like let's take, for instance, the guy, Billy the Exterminator. Now, we all know that ain't what he really does all day, every day. That's he's LARPing. That's what he's, you know, he's LARPing. He puts on this outfit and he pretends to be this hero. That's LARPing.
Well, there's a lot of us who could go out here and say that we're
Thank you,
predator
Ghost.
hunters. I could even say that I'm a predator hunter because that
Yeah,
I watch for stuff
absolutely.
like that. And
Absolutely. Hey, Sarah.
I you know, with Ernie, I think that Ernie's capabilities on a lot of the things that he says he does is very, very at a high rate. I think that he does know the lingo and different things like that on different trafficking scenarios. And also, if I remember correctly, he actually had been in a very traumatic situation as far as that goes when he was younger, right?
I feel like, okay, I feel like this. I feel like he is selling an illusion, and that if you're not careful, you can fall into that rabbit hole and get so lost in it that you are buying into this magic carpet ride that you go on when you're a tiger.
Exactly.
He has you you know, screenshotting people. He has you googling people. He has you you really feel like you're making a difference and you're not. And so, but the whole thing is, it's almost like you're playing Clue, live action, sort of mystery.
Right. Well, I remember a lot of people got mad at me because I was trying to explain to people that, okay, we have all these creators, and you can see which creators are not doing their own research. They're having everybody else do it for them. And
Yeah.
they're just sitting back, you know, bringing that info in, which there's nothing wrong with that.
If they pay them, I don't see, you know, I mean, hey, it's
Well,
everybody.
I mean,
It's
most
like
of them don't get paid.
Think of it like this. Oh, they don't. Well, then I don't know. Because see, I try to think of it like everybody thinks of their channel differently. I would like to think of it as this is sort of like my brand. You know what I mean? This is sort of my company, my business, and what was the question?
I don't remember.
My husband's cutting up this pizza, and I looked over at it, and I just went, "Oh, what?" I just went completely dead.
I do that all the time, and then I'll say,
I went to pizza.
I do that, and then I say, "Are you guys blowing that smoke through my monitor again?"
I'm a fat chick. Just show me food. I'll shut up.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't remember what I was trying to say. What were we talking about, Raminka? What were we saying about our brand and our channel?
Well, I get what you're saying because of the pure fact when I first started my channel, and I still do my channel based on what I can figure out as facts with Summer's case. I don't like to do a lot of hearsay and stuff when it comes to Summer's case because it gets so chaotic. And
Yes,
one of the things,
absolutely.
right, and one of the things that I noticed here recently, because before we had different periods of time where there wasn't that much, well, there was no information, new information. And so people would just start this drama, chaotic stuff. And so when Satin came to Daisy's channel, what I noticed was because of course Daisy has Candace on her channel and Dawn and all that.
Right.
But what I noticed was Ziggy was actually doing a live where she was talking to Fred Hill, the neighbor's girlfriend. And so
Oh, tell me
she,
about that. What
well,
did they say about it?
girl, let me tell you something. The first time Ziggy had her on a live, and she was doing something. She had to have been doing substances. If you look at it, you can tell.
Okay.
So then this last time she came on, she looked really pretty. She had done her hair and looked really nice, but she's swearing up and down that after Summer that Candace was pregnant. She has said it more than one time. So I don't know about that, but Fred's supposedly sitting in jail getting beat up. Um, the last time he talked to Ziggy she did a video call with him and put it out live. And he had been getting beat up, and he told Ziggy that he loved her twice. And I was like, I said, so this was my suggestion. If you all are ever talking on a video call to a man in jail, or you're on the other side of that glass.
So this is love during lockup?
No. This is, yeah, it sounds like it though, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, you get some news on the down low.
I was like, girl, let me tell you, girl, something. Make them show their hands. If they're talking to you, make them show their hands.
Oh my gosh. So what about the girlfriend?
Well, Ziggy's putting up her Cash App and stuff, and I ended it because Ziggy was like, oh, I'm going to put your Cash App up. And she was like, well, I just want to make sure Fred has money. And I'm like, forget it. I don't even want to watch you anymore. It's all about money.
Oh,
it's all about money.
Yeah,
when she talked to the Hawkins County won't let him talk to they won't let him do video calls and stuff anymore. Yeah, they took it away because Ziggy live streamed
his virtual conjugals.
Yeah. Well, Ziggy was talking to him on a video call, and some guy was right beside him taking a shit on the toilet.
Oh my gosh.
And he got up and walked out, and he turned his head and looked at the camera, and I was like, no wonder Fred's getting beat up. He's showing people taking a dump.
Wow, boy, it's really just gone to complete 100%.
But I use that as an example as you've got this stuff going on over on Daisy's channel like that, and we know that she's associated with the Wells, and then you've got Laura, the neighbor, over on Ziggy's. To me, and this is just my opinion, that's all distraction. It's all distraction. And you know what? If Satin wants you, he ain't gonna come on a YouTube channel and growl at you.
Did it spook her though?
I think the woman. I think the woman who started speaking in tongues freaked everybody out more than the growling satin did.
Oh, really? Is it still up? I'm gonna have to go watch that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
hilarious.
definitely up. Oh, did you see where Daisy also had up where Smiley and Candace got into it?
No.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
I
You
did
gotta
see
watch
that.
that.
I did see that. I
Oh
did
my
see that.
gosh.
Yes.
Candace and her potty mouth,
I
Lord.
bet I bet I bet that Smiley felt so much better after she finally got to do that though.
Yeah, but I thought it was a setup.
You
I thought
really
it was a
did you?
setup.
Why?
I honestly
It didn't
did.
feel organic.
Huh?
It didn't seem organic, real.
It did on Ziggy's part, but I just had a feeling that that had been set up that way with Candace and Daisy and them. And I
Okay.
think that they kind of just pulled Ziggy into it. I mean, I'm glad she chewed Candace out, but boy, that was the first time we ever heard Candace really go off like that.
Yeah.
And what got me was people were saying things like, "Oh, that's really her. That's the Candace we know." And I went, "That's not a good look. Why would you
Right.
do that? That is not a good look." So, Smiley called TBI, and which I can't believe she did this, but she called TBI and told him that Don was going to unalive Candace. He'd been beating on her, and that if that happened, we would never know what happened to Summer. And
Mm.
TBI was like, sorry, that's not on us, right?"
Right. Where are
So
they
then,
living now? Is it true that they're not on the hill?
no, they're back. Don's back on the hill. I don't know if Candace is back there or not
I thought
because,
they were saying she wasn't allowed there or she couldn't come back or something
well,
like
yeah.
that.
See, after what she did with Smiley, her and law enforcement ended up showing up, and Candace left. So I don't know if she's necessarily not allowed back on the hill. I think it was just the cops, with a domestic violence thing. They're like, "Look, one of you got to go." And
Yeah.
I think Candace was like, "Oh, I'll go." You know, she that lady is look, people chewed me out really bad because I was trying to explain to people that Candace's life when she was young, maybe Summer's age or whatever, um, a person close to her had said that, abuse and things happen.
Yeah.
So I said, well, Candace, her probability of being a victim when she was younger is very high. But do I consider her a victim now, because she's older and she should know better? No. And
Yeah.
I had people come at me and tell me Candace was brainwashing me. Oh, you wouldn't believe the stuff they were saying. And I said, did you not listen to what I said?
Oh, wow.
I can look at people who bad things happen to them when they're younger and say they're a victim, but that doesn't mean I think they're a victim now. That's two
Yeah.
totally different things. And because instead of people coming to you, and I'm sure you get this all the time, and saying, "Hey, I didn't quite get what you were saying. Can you explain that a little bit better or something?" They don't do
Right.
that. They automatically want to jump on you, and that's when I tell everybody to F off. I'm like, F off.
There she was in that swimming pool, I guess at a hotel yesterday, and she posted a video of her splashing her feet around in the pool. And I thought to myself, boy, I bet Summer likes swimming in pools like that or clean water like that at least.
Yeah,
So
that always got me about. She got on the news and talked about. Sorry, you guys, my dog's barking.
that's
Um,
okay.
but she got on the news and told how nasty, dirty that water and surroundings were at the watering hole, but yet she didn't hesitate to let Summer in it. That always
Mm,
got to me right there.
But they let her go down there with those nasty, it looked like a runoff of some sort, maybe a drain there where
Right.
they had her swimming. That was nasty.
Well, and this is what I always said about the Hunter situation and giving him the twisted tea. He probably did go into the woods to drink it, in my opinion, because he was underage. And
Underage.
if someone would have saw him, it could have been a totally different ball game. I think that's why he went into the woods, was to drink the twisted tea. So
Yeah. Yeah. Or smoke a joint, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah. I bet they brought weed with them and they went in there where they could smoke it. Nobody would.
but that's why she was talking about how nasty it was around there and all the twisted tea cans that were laying around, because she's like, well, look, there's a crap load of twisted tea cans out there. So basically, you're going to have to prove I gave it to him, because it was a he said, she said situation. So
There's a photo of them where she's hugging him, and it seems recent because of this hair dye. And you can just tell they have a more secure bond now than they did before. And I feel like it's a secret between the two of them
between H and Candace.
about Candace and Dawn.
Oh, yeah, they know so much about
They
each other.
do.
They're not going to snitch on each other. Yeah,
They're going to take this to their grave.
You better believe it. She's not going. She said from the beginning, "I'm not going to say anything about my husband because
Right.
he's the father of my kids." And
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, you're telling us right there that that's a bond. No matter what he does to you, no matter what he does to you, you are never going to tell on him. Bottom line. And she's not. She ain't gonna say
No,
anything.
because she had the perfect opportunity when he was locked up, and she had so much support. That was her opportunity to really, change her entire trajectory of her life right there. And she
Well,
went back to him.
I know
So
that I upset a lot of people too when I talk about Don. He said, I was at work. I was at work. Don is a subcontractor. Subcontractors, yes, the contractors hire the subcontractors, right? But they don't have to be on the job site all day. They can go where they want. They don't have to clock in and out. They do everything that they want to do, and people do not keep tabs on them all the time. And
right.
so I keep saying, tell me about the whole day. I want to know about the whole day. I don't want to know about just where you
Right.
guys are BSing about what time she went missing. And quit acting everybody at the
And
beginning.
adding things like that. Oh yeah, she did some laundry. Yeah, because somebody said, no, wait a minute, that wouldn't have filled all that time.
Well,
Yeah, and did
that's
she
what
not eat anything? Yeah, she had a sandwich. And then you think of that guy from Saturday Night Live, the compulsive liar,
yeah.
pathological liar, right? And yeah, that's the ticket. That's it. It was a sandwich. That's a ticket. Right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Don and Candace both are BSers. I think, and this is just my opinion, that I cannot say if they're guilty of some or not. I can't. They haven't been charged with anything yet. But I, in my heart, believe that there's a lot of drug issues and stuff, not necessarily them doing the substances, but I think that they were involved in, and this is just my opinion, in some drug and things going on in the
Oh,
holler.
definitely. Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's why nobody wants to state facts, because they're trying to cover up their own nefarious shit.
I had a
So,
question. I have no idea what the ingredients are, even though I've seen Breaking Bad. It was a long time ago. What the ingredients are in making meth. And a family member went to work at a lithium mine. And I
right.
know that there's a lot of mines in that area. And it made me wonder, is there lithium on Ben Hill?
That's a
Is
good
that why it might be
question.
lucrative?
Well, see, this is what, because if you remember Grandma, when she did her interview, she said that she got a pain shot at the hospital. And then she also got a prescription for anti inflammatories. Well, what a lot of people didn't know, and I was looking into meth, to see about meth. I don't know anything about meth. And
Right.
it, and it stated that anti-inflammatories are often used to cut the meth with.
No shit.
So, and then it was weird because Candace was seeing, around Fred's at like 4:30 or something, and I'm like, she probably could make good money off of anti-inflammatories, especially if they're prescription.
Right.
So, because a lot of people were like pain pills, pain pills, pain pills, and I'm like, if she was prescribed an anti-inflammatory, then that could be used to cut the meth. But my gosh, I cannot believe that anybody would inject meth into their veins or up their nose or however they do it, because they use the battery acid, and household cleaners,
Right.
and it's
Right.
like, but that's
Well,
where,
is lithium in the battery? That's why I wondered. I
yeah,
wonder if there's
yeah,
lithium on that
lithium.
mountain.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure lithium is in
Just think
batteries.
about it. That might be why
And
they have that property.
so yeah, it's just, I don't know how people do it. But when you see people who do meth that their face is all pocked up, it's because the chemicals have to be released somehow. So it's
Mhm.
released through your skin. And believe it or not, I was at a party one time, and there was one person at the party that smelled horrible. And that's what it was. They were like, they're doing meth. And after I
Ooh.
smelled it that one time, I never wanted to be around somebody and smell that again, believe me.
All right.
But you could pick it up and you could smell it. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, it was weird. But yeah, stick that thing up your nose, breathe that. It's crazy. Why would you do that? But that's exactly what I thought when she said that about the anti-inflammatories. I was like, there you
Right.
go. But they just need to stop. Gypsy, they just need to stop the bull crap, because they've made it about them. They've made it about Don and Candace,
Absolutely
and a
have.
lot of other creators have made it about Don and Candace too, which, I guess that's YouTube creators creating, because whatever they can do to get them views and stuff in. I understand all that, but I really think if a lot of people would blacklisted them from the beginning, I think we would be in a totally different scenario as far as summer being gone than we are right
Who
now.
was saying yesterday that they came here? It may have been Dolly. I don't remember. Don't hold me to that. To what is it called? Revamp, restore, whatever their image this go round. They
Well,
didn't do it. They made it worse, in my opinion. They made it worse.
there's a lot of people who, this is a sad thing. And look, I'm not a professor of anything, but a lot of these people who came in to cover Summer's case were, and I don't want nobody getting mad at me, but they were people from that area. And so they came in and, told us what they knew about the area and stuff like that, which was great. But when you're on YouTube, you have to try to go at different angles also. You got to try to talk about some different things. You need to, if you're going to stay in YouTube, you have to keep revamping yourself. And
Right.
so some of the smaller creators who got a lot of their views and stuff over the Summer Wells case, that have not tried to revamp, they're kind of stuck in this hole now. There's
Yeah.
nothing, we don't know anything new about Summer's case. So
Let me ask you something. What happened to Cam and Allie? I haven't seen them go live in a while.
my understanding is I was talking about Lips put a video on my channel that she wanted us to hear about. I don't know, Cam fell asleep or something with a plate in his lap. It was really weird. And we know that, it's been going around allegedly that, they've had some problems with things. But somebody came into my chat and they were like, yeah, and now they're losing their house. Why didn't you say something before? And I didn't have a clue what they were talking about, but I was like, wait a minute. This ain't Remain Calm Rehab. What do you want me to do about people who's doing that stuff? I can't do anything. So what I did was when I said that, I wrote a whole skit for Remain Calm Rehab. I just hadn't read it yet. But yeah, they were, why didn't you do, what do you want me to do? I don't even personally know these people.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but I get a little flustered with people who, like I was saying before, if you don't want your business out on YouTube, you can have a channel without showing people things that are going on, on the other side of the camera. You really can. And you can get personal with people. And I've made a lot of friends off YouTube.
I have too. And you know what? I'm not like everybody else that says, you ain't gonna make no friends here. I have. And I've met them off platform now. And now I consider, and we don't follow the same people.
Right.
And like Mars, I love her to death. I feel like she's family to me and would do anything in the world for her. And we don't follow the same people, and that's okay. And I think that you know, I I probably hold things a little bit more more, how do you say?
You hold more to the chest.
Yeah, I'm not going to, hurt anyone like that. You know what I'm saying? Devastate them, I guess is what I'm saying, or torment them or anything like that. I just want to make you laugh. That's it. I'm not out to like make you want to kill yourself. That's not my thing.
Right. Yeah, I try to make people laugh with some of the stuff I say too. There's times that somebody will question what I said and they want me to go back and look at my live or whatever, and I can't because I laugh at myself. I'm like, you are the craziest thing in the world.
I think that is so important to have humility, and and when they're attacking me, it doesn't hurt when you look at it and you make it funny. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, you've got to laugh at yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're probably
and
like me too.
And the names that they call me is like, well, yeah, it might be.
Oh, girl, I've been called a lot of different names, and it doesn't bother me any at all.
Like
but
when he said she wasn't no top mod, mediocre. Actually, I don't know if he used the word mediocre or not, but I did.
Hilarious.
So I just took it and laughed at it.
Well, see, this last live I did, I got upset because a couple of my mods, they go to whatever channels they want. They're grown adult people. Yeah. I know they are not coming to me tattletelling on what anybody says, and vice versa. It just doesn't work that way. And one of my mods was in a chat, and because she was a mod for me and she was in that chat, they automatically, thought that they were going to say things. And I'm like, no. These people are grown people. They're not coming over into my channel to cause problems just because they were in somebody's chat I may not like. Right. And I got really frustrated about that because I'm like, look, I have a lot of people who email me about a lot of different things that I feel like it's just between them and I don't need to get on YouTube and say it. And when I find people who kind of want to push the issue of wanting you to do something about something that, you know, they've brought to light, I'm like, do it yourself.
Right.
Why should I be the one dogging on somebody just because, you know, they may have flippantly said something about you? You fight your own battles. I'm not here to fight your battles.
I agree. Hey, Chaos and Roses, I agree.
So yeah, it gets a
Why
little.
do some people feel the need to control where their subs go? To me, it seems, because when I turn it off, I'll go watch, you know, or turn it on while I'm doing other things, and you know, my responsibilities to the house or whatever. And I wonder, you know, where do you get that energy to hunt people like that? You know what I mean?
That's what I said. I mean, I'll use lips as a great example because I'm like, I am not gonna go looking around for people who's talking crap about you
Right,
because the whole internet is talking crap about you, and I don't have the time for it. And
right,
I will not go to anyone's channel and defend her. She's
right.
done what she's done. I throw my hands up in the air on that. I would be looking around on YouTube 24 hours a day because somebody's always saying something about her, you know.
Right,
And I'm just not that type of person. I'm not into it.
right. I think that she likes to, is the word goat people, goad people. Um, I don't know why. That's sort of her thing, is to get it, get you
Yeah,
going. She likes to
yeah,
get you
that's
going.
that's exactly what she does. And I'm not like that with her. I won't jump on that bandwagon at all. That's just
Yeah.
not the way I am. But I've
Yeah.
always been like this too. I can be friendly with many different people, and I've always told my chat, if you don't like someone who's in chat, just don't respond to them. Don't talk to them.
This is a good question. Chaotic spooky life. Real question. Anyone notice the ones that hate us are the first to know, comment, or speak on us? Why do you think that is? Was that your response, Vulture, to that question? I think that might be the response.
I think a
I
lot
did
of
it
it
backwards. Sorry.
I think a lot of it is, see what happens when a creator and their subs kind of pick out one individual. Um, Not only does the drama give that creator's views and stuff, but if the other creator even comments on it or defends themselves,
Hey,
um,
Tracy.
that just gives more, more. They highlight the creator who's starting the drama, and
Right.
so you got people going over there to watch, and then this and that. But what I've noticed in Summer Wells' case, these people are fighting over what they know about the case and the information that they have. And I'm like, why would you fight over that? Because Summer's not home. So don't try to tell me, but I'm not everybody. Don't try to tell me that somebody close to the investigation told you anything. And I get upset when subs believe that. I'm like, common sense. Do
Mhm.
you really
It's
think?
version too.
And they just, that's exactly what it is. They think that you know more about Summer's case,
Clout, I
and
guess.
they want to discredit everything about you. They don't.
Chaos. It sounds like you left the chaos and went to the roses. She says, I've been venturing out into totally different communities as of late. I needed a break from all of this crazy cycle. It's mentally tiring listening to people fight 24/7. I agree. She gets
Yeah,
a
and
clap.
that's the thing about it, because
I
uh,
agree.
I've got a great example. Um, there's a mod of mine, and she goes and she's mod for other people, and she goes and watches all kind of different people. She gets a text at 2:30 in the morning that says basically these people are in this chat and they're talking crap about you. You need to watch your back. Well,
Yeah.
number one, it was 2:30 in the morning. Who in the hell texts somebody at 2:30 in the morning and tells them to watch their back? Number
Oh my
two,
gosh.
what this person didn't know was she was in that chat. She was
Hey,
in the
Izzy
chat.
and Vulture, Zepparella, anyone coming in? Good to see you guys, Princess Ice.
So with her being in that chat, she was like, I'm in this chat. And the other person was like, oh. Now what I asked her was, if you wouldn't have been in that chat on that channel when she texted you that, would it have turned into something totally different? And she said, yeah, she would have been pissed.
I bet.
And it's like, that's how these people do it to keep things going. Or if, oh my God, I'm going to say this and then I'm getting off. But anyhow,
Go ahead. I'm listening.
this, I mean, I just got too many examples of stupid shit. Just too many
Zepparella says
examples.
we were right back where we started, it seems. It's a circle.
It is a circle. It's a big circle. But, you know, the thing with Cam and Allie, I was talking about on my channel, what I was talking about was when, I'll say allegedly, a YouTuber got Allie fired from her job as a nurse. Well, when I was talking about it, I had another creator come in and say, no.
Allie was a nurse?
Yeah, Allie was a nurse. From what they said. She worked in nursing. And I don't know if she was still going to school or what was going on, but basically the other creator came into my chat and was telling me, don't even try to act like they were a victim. Cam told me why she got fired, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they stayed tore up from the floor up every time
Oh
they
my
was
gosh.
live. I want to go to there. I want to go to delusional land.
No,
I want to know what these people, what shrooms are they eating? What peyote are they dropping? I want to know.
Hey girl, you know what I said about
what the hell is everybody on?
That's what I said about the cow patty lady. I'm like, girl, you're eating them mushrooms underneath those cow patties. You're having a good time out there in that field. I can guarantee it.
Yeah. I want to go to there. Right.
But you know, I think if you're
Nicolina, thank you.
I think if you're a drama channel, you're a drama channel and you do your drama all you want. But when it comes to missing children, especially cases, you need, I mean, that's what makes me so angry is these people, they will fight about each other and call each other names for 2 hours and then they'll say Summer's name. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Izzy.
Or they'll title their video with Summer's name, and all it is them bitching about each other. That's all they do. And I'm like, look, come on over to
this. What did they ever confirm that was a black eye?
No.
Okay. And or what happened?
She said, okay, Candace said, because Benny asked her. Actually, Benny talked to her not long ago.
Did he really? He asked her?
Yeah.
I want to know.
It was front page news. It was front page news. But he was, I think he went over to Daisy's channel and talked to her. Okay. But
he said, girl, what the hell happened to your eye?
Yeah. Well,
something like that, I'm sure.
He was being so sweet. It was like people in chat were like, oh, he's being so sweet. I was like, yeah, he was sweet with her before. He's just getting sweeter now. But anywho, so Benny asked her, she said that she wouldn't say how she got it. But Benny was asking questions, right? Because he basically talked about her getting away. And these are not word for word verbatim, but basically getting away from Dawn. Getting
Okay.
away from Dawn would be probably one of the best things she ever did. We have to remember she was starting to get clean when she was with Kathy the friend, and the minute Dawn got out of jail, she went right back to it. So I don't think they're going to get the
Now, I
boys
did
back.
hear yesterday that they both tested positive for coke and meth during some, I don't know what it was for, but they had given, was it for the DSS? I can't remember.
Well, what they,
And
yeah,
that made me think, that must have been what their thing was then. And I don't know if you ever have, but unfortunately, in my day when I was a piece of shit, I lived with a couple of other pieces of shit that were on crack. And I
right,
know what that's like. And crack alone, it was like they were out of their head, and stronger than Hercules and very combative when they were coming down.
right.
And
Well, and
I could not imagine adding amphetamine to that. Are you kidding? Usually the person that I was with, the guys that I was with, they were drinkers, and they were actually alcoholics, and they would drink to the point where they needed to like they didn't want to go to sleep like days on end. They would drink, and they would smoke crack to sober up so that they could keep drinking. So it was like they were more of an alcoholic than they were a
right,
crackhead.
yeah, any time, well, back in, this was
This is like the
40 years ago.
90s.
Yeah, like 40 years ago for me.
Right.
You know, people, anybody that I was around that I knew was doing the meth, that was the thing. They would go to the bars all night and
Yeah.
drink. And, you
Mhm.
know, I know a couple people, they said that they just did it to be able to go out and party like that.
Right.
But
Right. They used it almost like back in the 60s and 70s like they did speed.
right.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, is that what they're turning to meth for? Is
Well, I,
the adrenaline rush, I'm assuming?
well, the thing we have to remember too is Candace,
Oh, and
was,
that he also said another, I'm sorry, I'm picking your brain, but he also said this week that pedophilia was a sexual orientation. That's what Don said this week. He said it was a sexual orientation, and Prayer Garden was talking about it either last night or the night before. And what are your thoughts on him saying that?
let me say why I think that he's saying that. And like I said, I always say in my opinion a lot, or hearsay or whatever.
Right, I'll
Um,
put it up there. This is our okay, go ahead.
Dawn,
Yeah.
when Dawn was young, he tells the story of pulling a magazine out from underneath his uncle's bed
Mhm.
that showed grown men how to, I'll say, take advantage of children.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I believe that's probably why he's talking about sexual orientation and pedophiles, because you are one, Don Wells. No,
Yeah, it
I'm just kidding.
excuses the
I should
behavior
I
if you
shouldn't
say
say
that.
that.
If you say
I,
that, it excuses the behavior,
I
doesn't
should,
it?
yeah, I shouldn't have.
It's making it's he's trying to normalize it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have did that
Yeah.
on your channel. I
No, that's
apologize,
fine.
Gypsy.
That's fine. That's all right. But that
Um,
is sort of my thought process too. Is he's using that as a way to normalize it, so people don't think he's such a bad
he
guy.
always has from the get go tried to normalize everything. Candace too normalized their life. Well, everything was normal that day. Maybe
Mhm.
you're normal, but not our normal.
Mm, right.
You know. And as far
Exactly.
as the drugs and coming up positive, yeah, that the very beginning they gave him a drug test, and it was said that I haven't seen actual receipts on it, but it was said that crack and meth and weed and booze, I guess. But we have to remember Candace was a methamphetamine addict at one time, and Don will not lie about the fact that he loves his cocaine. He
Yeah.
loves his cocaine.
Yeah.
So it's taking, a lot of people don't do this, but, and I mean, it's just a human thing to do that, when someone actually says something, you pick out the words, to kind of make it being said how you think it's being said. But if you look at a lot of different things that Don Wells has said, he's telling us a story. And
Yeah,
it's funny that we're even talking
I
about this because
agree.
I'm getting ready to do a thing on all the rock gut stuff that Don said could have happened to Summer.
Right, I've got a
And
couple of those clips. You're more than welcome to them. I've shared them as shorts, and I've got them as clips too. You're welcome to them. But
oh,
I
thank
have I
you.
have the one where he says when you're addicted. He was talking to No Thanks. It was a year ago. He said, and when you're addicted to cocaine or drugs, you will do anything. You will sell your soul for
Yep.
drugs. And that was sort of like he is trying to confess in some of these things that he says, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely doing that. And what I find really weird with him is because he will state things that are fact or are fact to him. But if someone is truth bombing you like crazy, what are you lying about? Where's the
Right,
lies?
right.
He's not told the truth from the beginning. In my opinion, he was home. I'm sure he left that day, but I think that he was home more than once that day. And
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think there
know.
was probably a transaction,
Yeah, a lot of
you
people
know?
do.
Yeah.
But if you look at where they lived, I'm sorry, but you're not going to tell me a meth head is high
Just
on meth and is
blah
going to
blah. I think
and
I'll turn
and
down here.
run all the way up that freaking hill. I'm sorry. I think that they would have a heart attack running up
Yeah.
that hill and getting
Or it
her.
probably went something like this. This is where she's going to be.
Mhm.
And that's why there's emphasis on those sheds.
The sheds, yes, exactly. The sheds, for
And
sure.
what Jose said about how they had turned one of the sheds into without saying it,
Well, that's
a
the thing.
love bin, I guess I'll say.
Well, uh, what made the shed stand out so much was the fact that Don threw a fit when Chris McDonough questioned him about that shed. And supposedly, when he got home, that's the first place he went to was the shed. And
Yeah.
my thought went, my daughter's missing, and I'm looking at my three sons. I think I would be stopping to check on my three sons
Unless he thought, well, the cops are coming, I better hide my shit.
and see he's questionable about that. One minute he don't know if the cops were there, and the next minute the cops were all over the place.
Yeah.
Everything that
If
he
you're a
has
drug
said,
addict, the first thing you do is you hide your shit.
exactly.
He went to go
But
hide his
yeah, I mean,
stuff.
some people tend to think that yeah, the shed has a lot more meaning. And
Mm.
I've listened to all the psychics and stuff and people who's done all these readings and stuff, and they always say the shed is important because I'll say allegedly they were that was a pickup point
Yeah.
for Summer.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Whether
That was
whether yeah, whether it be that the people were actually coming there or they were picking her up.
now.
Um,
Whatever happened to that Reverend Donna Serafina?
she's still around.
Oh,
She's
okay.
still
I
around.
haven't seen her around in a while. Okay.
Well, what a lot of people didn't realize about Reverend Donna was that she was a person who was monumental in actually finding where JJ Lori Vallow's kids were, Tyler Ryan and JJ.
Yep.
So she was very instrumental in that.
Yep. I remember.
Also, she mentioned what got me was when she mentioned two people named Chris and Jeff, and she said, "I don't know if it's a road, I'm not
Right.
sure. I'm not sure." And I'm like, "There's a Chris and Jeff Light who lives in the holler." I don't think any of that was put together, but you know, that's just little things that I get. It's so funny because I followed this case and wrote about it for so long, and I do forget about stuff. It's hard to look through my notes when I've got 380 something pages on my computer and 20
Yeah.
notebooks full of stuff. So
Yeah.
I usually tease people and tell them that I probably have their name in my books, and it could be good or it may be bad. But I just tell them I don't have time to go looking y'all up to see what you've done.
Right, exactly. I got things to do. I got laundry to do. Oh
But
man.
yeah, it's just a sad thing. I think people just need to, you know, take a step back and know if you're a creator and you have the backing of your subs and members, stepping away for a few days or even kind of changing the topic,
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean that you don't care about summer. It doesn't mean that. It just
Right.
means that you need to step back a little bit,
And get
talk
some
about,
clarity. Just get
yeah,
some
get some
clarity.
clarity. And because exactly what happens is all this chaotic stuff is exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it let me tell you, it gets on my nerves. And when it gets on my nerves, then I have to say something.
Sandy is joining us. Sandy says, "Hey, how are you? Good afternoon."
Turn the damn camera off. Okay, can you hear
Hey,
me?
Sandy. Yes, I hear you fine.
All right. When I went into StreamYard, my audio got a little weirder. Yeah, my main account is K something, so that's why it says K up there. I don't want to interrupt. Remain calm. Was she still in the middle of something?
No. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't want to like totally wreck your flow there.
No, not at all. You're great.
Something was getting on my mind. That I don't know if it'll bore people to death or not, but it ties into this whole drug use topic overlapping with our online community stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, I don't really know. I was sitting here really busy with something, and then this story just kept coming to my mind as I was listening to y'all. About, I can't see chat either. Hang on, y'all. I'm going to turn on comments. Okay. If that helps.
You mean how everybody seems to be tore up from the floor up when they're on here?
Well, that's a whole nother show.
Oh, okay. What are you referring to then?
Seriously, real quick, does my audio sound okay? Because I'm on my external speaker, and sometimes I think that makes me sound weird.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So about 2011, 2012, so what was that? 11, 12 years ago? I was very active on Facebook. And I was into all these conspiracy rabbit holes like you wouldn't believe.
Right, me too.
Okay, I know we have kind of talked about that. And so this one big conspiracy truther page that I was active on, the guy that founded and ran that page kept asking me to come be an administrator on there. 2 or 3 times. I was chicken. I wouldn't do it. I'm not that social media of a person in that way. But I finally agreed to do it. So I ended up posting on this page, and I mean, I worked on it for hours a day, kind of like y'all do with your YouTube channels now. And this guy, it was him who founded the page and built it. Then there were 3 other, and all these guys were like in their, from late teens into maybe 30 at most. I was the old hag, and I was the den mom. So we all worked on this page like feverishly all day long, organized behind the scenes, all our schedules and, everything.
Right.
Well, the guy that originated the page was a severe, lifelong heroin addict, which had kind of transitioned to opioids. And he, at some point, confided that to me, but the other guys didn't know anything about it. Now, they were all little partying, Gen X potheads and stuff like that, but they had no idea of this guy's severe lifelong problem. He had been a heroin addict since he was 13. His parents introduced him to it, his dad specifically. And I think he was the guy I'm talking about was 27, 28 years old at the
Uh-huh.
time. So the point I'm trying to get at, we all had, you know, like a lot of y'all do, you have your private chats, your little group stuff going on in private. We did that as administrators, as a team working on this page. So we all built a friendship.
Right.
I can
Definitely.
understand. But I was the only one that at some point eventually understood. I'm trying not to say his name because it just feels wrong, but I'm calling Matt. That's not his name. But
Okay.
I was the only one that really understood his problem. But
Okay.
again, the point I'm trying to get to here is that he was so brilliant, so unique, so gifted, so creative. I mean, he was an amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
So he ran this thing, and I just want y'all to bear in mind people that you see in today in this community that fit these descriptions.
Okay.
Just off the charts, you know, above and beyond your average intellect and creative gift. And
I like those
then
types.
yeah, but it got to a point where, you know, when he was getting dope sick, he lived that life of a hardcore drug addict. And so the way he was when he was working on the page with us versus when he was dope sick, he's still behind the scenes in the private chat with us. But you know where I'm going with that. Well, eventually he scammed and robbed me so badly. Somewhere throughout the course of this, I think I ended up out about $1,000 over the course of 9 or 10 months, something like that, before I really was fully aware of what was going on. And I at some point, I know the part I want to get to, Jip, because you're going to relate to this. So many people here will.
Okay.
When he knew that I had had enough and that I was cutting him off, like I didn't believe any more of his lies about the money, I wasn't sending any money. I would just cut him off on a dime overnight. He goes and tells all these other boys, had been working with me for almost a year, all this lying bullshit. Thank God by then they kind of knew what we were dealing with. They didn't take any of his lies and slander seriously. But I mean, he turned on me from being like my best friend to completely trashing me and just telling them lies and all this stuff. And that thank God they didn't believe it. But I had to tell them how much money he had been stealing from me for all these months. And it really pissed them off. They got very protective of me. And he kicked me off the page just based on nothing but this bullshit, right? And the other boys kept running the page, but the leader guy, Matt, had no idea that they were still talking to me behind the scenes. This went on for 6 months.
Wow.
Because they were so mad at him, but they said, but it's his page. He was the owner of the page.
Wow.
We had over 150,000 followers on this page.
Holy shit.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. It was kind of
Why didn't y'all start a spinoff?
Yeah, it was kind of top tier, I'm putting my speaker here, I can hear you better.
I think I've got a question if I can ask you there, Sam.
Please do, yeah.
So and this ain't none of my business, you don't have to answer it, but what were the things that you might have been giving him money for? What was he asking for the money for?
Okay, and I'm just digging this out for the moment from 10, 12 years of my memory ago, because I have blocked it all out. It was one of those horrible chapters of my life. But the first thing, Tom, that comes to my mind was dental. It was always a dental emergency.
Oh, yeah.
Now he was living with an older family member. It was kind of that revolving door where he'd been kicked out and moved back in and kicked out and moved back in and stuff. But that's the first thing that comes to my mind was several dental emergencies.
Yeah. And then, not to cut you off, but I've seen a lot of dental emergencies throughout the last 3 or 4 years with some of these YouTubers, I'll say.
Right. That's kind of why I kept feeling compelled to try to tell this story. I suck at telling stories. I'm doing my best. But I'll think of some of the other stuff that he probably came up with about the money. as I go on, because I'm getting back in my memory with it. But 6 months of me not being a part of this anymore because of what I just explained, and the other boys knowing what was really going on. And when I sent them the proof of the funds that I had sent him over the time, they were furious. And they said, okay, we're going to keep running the page till we figure out a way to deal with this. Because like I said, I forgot how even the Facebook pages are set up as far as who's the owner, the managers, the edit, all the different classifications or whatever. So I remember now, okay, it took a couple of months of one of our oldest guys on there, most responsible one, to coerce him into making him like a co-manager, which gave him certain privileges on the page, because what they were worried about, they were like, we have built this up. We've got 150,000 people following our materials. And some of them had been there for a long time. And he said, if Matt starts trying to scam our people, we have to have a way to end it, to have some control over that, because we're not tolerating that. So, and the whole while, I will reiterate again, this guy, when he was not dope sick, was a freaking genius. Just an amazing person as a manager of that page, the material he's putting out, everything. So it kept going on and on. Well, finally, things with addicts, eventually you start hitting those bottoms. And, one thing after another happens. Maybe you get kicked out of your shelter again, which, yes, that is what happened. He got kicked out of his roof over his head again.
Wow.
Broke as broke can be, sick as sick can be. You get desperate enough and you'll do anything. Y'all have established that, right? So he finally, at some point, months and months after he kicked me off the page, started posting on our truther page about it, not the drug problem, but just that, oh, he's homeless and he needs money for a couple of cans of beans. And so the boys started flipping out in the back chat. Everyone, no. So the big day, the big hammer came down that they kicked him off his own page.
Wow.
But it was to protect when you start going after
How did they do that?
Their pocket, sorry, I'm yelling. I'm sorry, Gypsy, what?
How did they do? How did they overthrow his own page?
Because it was a coup that they had to plan for months. While Nate, that was real name, Matt, thought that I was long gone. He had kicked me off because I wasn't giving him any more drug money and I knew too much, and that whole song and dance, it's a familiar story. Months went by while he's still just running his page with the other fellas. But the other fellas knew what was going on and they were furious. So it took months of finagling for this one of the guys to convince Matt to make him a co-manager of the page, which gave him the, what's the word I'm looking for? Gave him the eligibility, to move people around on the page or to delete somebody.
Right.
So it took months to get even into that position. And even then they didn't do anything until a few more months later. There was some close calls of problems, but a few more months after the other guy got his position to protect things, was when Matt came up sick and homeless and started putting on our page to 150,000 people. And don't think he wasn't forming alliances with some of our followers on the side privately. You're in these chat streams, you talk to each other, then you go talk or you swap phone numbers. He was doing that. He was getting money out of people like that privately.
Like Mama T does?
Yeah. So when he started doing it directly on the page, out of panic, out of desperation, out of just bottomed out drug addict, started posting on there that this is that and that's happened. I'm homeless. I'm living in a tent and the only thing I've eaten in 3 days is a can of beans. It was on the page to not somebody outside privately, but to 150,000 people he's posting it. And Scott had been positioned a few months earlier to put the axe down and that's the day they waited for. They said the day that he does that, we're axing it. And they did. They axed him. They unblocked me out of the, page chat or whatever. I mean, like within 15 minutes, whole thing went down after it had been like simmering for 6 months.
Golly.
So I don't want to drag the story out any further than I already have, but it just,
Right. Well, no, yeah,
that
is
experience
crazy.
kept rolling in the back of my mind as I'm listening to y'all talking about the drug problems, and where every single day we're talking about, certain creators and subs, and
Right.
I'm just wanted to share that kind of experience over 10 years ago is why I can count on less than one full hand of fingers how many times I have ever sent anybody any money online.
I understand.
I don't do it anymore. This guy was like what we throw that friend word around on our, online associations. I mean, he, in that time of my life, was what I considered one of my closest, dearest friends.
Right.
And he was lying and robbing me blind the whole fucking time.
Well, whatever happened to him, do you know?
Well, at the time that the ship went on, he freaked out because that page was the one thing of substance in this world that he had accomplished. But he had accomplished it because he was hiding behind a webcam the whole time he was doing it. Okay, and that's
Good
another
to see you all coming in. Thank you for coming. Go ahead.
Y'all shut me up anytime because I'll go on Gypsy Notes. But it broke all of our hearts. I mean, even me, and it broke my heart to watch what they had to do to him. But he did it to himself. You cannot come on the page that we all work on 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours a day around the clock and start stealing money from our people. We're not going to sit here and let you do that. So he got axed off of his own page, and they even told him that, if you go get clean and stay clean, we'll give you your page back.
Right.
It's yours. It's your baby. But we're protecting you, and we're protecting all these people.
Was he really in a tent? Do you know that he was really in a tent, or was that just his grift?
Probably. The reason I think he probably was is because I kind of knew the patterns by then, and I'm pretty sure he had gotten kicked out of the one roof he had over his head at all. He didn't have anywhere to go. He lived in a small town. His brother was involved in it too. He and his brother both lived with a family member, and they were both addicts. And I think he went to that. I think it's when the other guy managed to get. God, I can't think of my words today. The other guy managed to get promoted to a co-manager status was because Matt was gone to detox. Now, and this probably sounds familiar.
He finally went.
No, what I'm saying is this will probably sound familiar to some of y'all too.
Okay.
Several times during this, he did go to detox, but he would just, when he couldn't get his hands on his dope anymore and he'd go to detox and then come out and get right back on it.
Because they're going to at least give you Suboxone in there, right?
I'm sorry.
Because they'll at least give him Suboxone in there.
Yeah, and that was one of the things, Remain Calm, that was one of the things that I remember him getting money out of me for, was begging that he need X amount of money to get some Suboxone. That was later in it when I was fully aware of how bad the situation was, and he was, being honest with me about that. And I remember the dental and all like that. But several times throughout this whole experience, a couple of times, like he would go to detox when he got desperate enough, but I was the only one who knew that's what was happening. But then when we got further into the part I told you about, when the other guys knew, he had kicked me off the page and they knew why, and they had proof of all, the money that I'd sent him over time. When that part was set up, he went to detox yet again with the other guys more familiar with the reality going on. And because he was going to be away from the page, that's why he broke down and made the other guy a co-manager.
Yeah.
of the page was because he was going to be away and not
Just
able
out
to
of
be.
curiosity, do you happen to know what state he was living in?
Yeah, Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
Yep, Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Damn, that is that's Mayberry to people that don't know from the Andy Griffith show. Mount Airy used to be called
Sure is.
Mayberry.
And Gypsy, when
I'm gonna
knew
go
that-
live from there one day when I can remember.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
When he knew that I was done with this, that he couldn't get any more dope money out of me for any excuse. The bank was closed. When he started his immediate slander campaign,
Hey neighbor.
he started leaving me messages, making up garbage about stuff he was going to put about me online. Now he was on probation.
Mm-hmm.
He was on probation. Now, let me tell you something. I don't even want to confess.
What was
this
the
shit.
charge he was on probation for? Do you know?
As that came out of my mouth, I'm trying to freaking remember, but because it was something previous. It wasn't in this 9 or 10 month window that I was interacting. It was something that had previous. He was on probation for something else.
Yes. Gypsy, I gotta go. Sandy,
Okay.
I don't want to.
Thank you for coming.
I don't want Sandy to feel like I'm disrespecting her by leaving.
Oh no, honey, not at all. Thank you for letting me come up with you.
I'm listening. I'm definitely listening, y'all.
Okay.
All right, girl. Have a good day.
Thank you again for bringing me all up to date.
That's what I was doing. I was so busy. I was just playing y'all in the background while I was trying to get caught up with some things. So I understand.
That's what I usually do too. We do our house chores while we listen to our stories.
The only thing I was inserting in there is, when you start reliving these things, all the details start slowly flooding. But there was a point when he first went on the attack to me that I had to call a detective at Mount Airy.
Right.
To tell him the threat, because I still to this day have the threatening phone calls he left me. He was threatening to contact my kids and tell them X, Y, Z. Just turned into
extortion.
Sometime after that, probably a year after that, he contacted me on Facebook. And it was the standard AA protocol step, whatever, where you have to go make amends with everybody you wronged.
Right.
Pretty canned material. And he contacted me, and it was pretty generic canned. I knew, it was like, well, at least he's still trying to get clean. I'm glad to hear about that. But I still had a lot.
Sorry, I harassed you for my dope money, man. Sorry. Something like that.
Yeah, I didn't have any kind words for the man. But I moved on with my life and licked my wounds and healed, and I didn't need any drama out of it. But anyway, he popped up out of nowhere a year later, messaged me, and like, I apologize for all the wrong I did to you, and And the only thing I said back to him, I said, that sounds pretty canned, pretty just like generic. I didn't use that word, but I just said one simple, honest statement. I said, it sounds a little bit canned, but I wish the best for you. You still owe me like X amount of dollars.
Right.
Like, apologize, but send me a check.
Absolutely. How you want to?
And of course, then it was like, oh, I'm working on getting a job. And I never heard from him again.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's doing now, but it's just heartbreaking. These are hard lessons to have a personal association with somebody that is so extraordinary. That's the word I think I was looking for earlier. Just an extraordinary person, but life and relationships ruined by his chronic addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have addiction other than my nicotine, so I can't get too deep or like a know-it-all into that. But from personal experience is what I'm saying. You can't do that. But I know that.
I was telling April, hey.
I see, and I always forget to look at chat. I just suck at this, y'all. That's why I don't have a channel. That's why I don't go on panels.
You just use your phone?
Huh? I don't even know where it is. I mean, my phone isn't even near me like 80% of the time. That's what I'm saying. I'm terrible with technology. I'm terrible with all this. But
When you're in StreamYard, on the bottom, I think it says chat or post message. If you click on chat, you
I
can
do
see it.
now. I can see the comments, but I didn't click join the chat. If I join the chat, I can chat from StreamYard in the chat.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
And
like
I know that's
think
always
Sarah
pretty
does that a
behind
lot.
by a few minutes.
Yeah,
The StreamYard chat's always a few seconds to a minute or two behind. It seems to vary. I forgot where I was going with that, y'all. What was I talking about, Gypsy?
Well, let me ask you something. How do you, now that you explained all that to me, and you've got definite experience with dealing with a creator that's very similar to Ernie, how do you feel about this new venture that he's come out to offer the was it a supplement of some sort?
Who the hell knows what he's doing? I mean,
do you think that this is sort of like what that dude was doing, was getting money for a habit?
Yeah, my blanketed, a point here is that anybody can be running this game.
Yeah.
Not that it didn't exist before we had internet and social media, but that's the point, that I'm just generalizing, whether it's, so-and-so or so-and-so. Anybody that you think you understand who they are on the other side of this monitor can be running this game and running it hard.
Yeah.
Some people are better at it than others, certainly. But that was my experience. And seeing the online persona and working alongside this person day after day, week after week, month after month, and seeing the difference between behind the scenes and the frontage on social media was completely polarized.
Yeah.
And then there was the factor too that too many of us are familiar with of when you get discarded. When the gig is up and you get discarded and you've been nothing but kind and good to this person and fair to this person and taken their abuse even.
Yeah.
Then the slander knows no bounds at the turn of a fucking dime. Okay, you go from being their best friend and their bested man and their best coworker and, to being the absolute scum of the earth.
Right.
This evil, psychotic bitch,
Right.
God, the stuff that he tried to, it was almost a blessing because he went so overkill with his slander.
There is so much of that here too. And there's so much of that too.
And I think that's what was kind of triggering me is hearing all these discussions about these things going on. And, when Carl was talking about all the potential drug use scenarios, and it just pulled it all up out of my memory. And I sat here and made myself a cup of coffee. I was like, I'm going to go on Gypsies and talk about this story because with social media and the internet, and I do what's right for me, and I respect everybody else to do what's right for them. I know there's a lot of really meaningful friendships developing in these communities, but I just for the most part, keep a different boundary. If you're somebody I have never stood in the same room with, or spent a couple of hours around, or at least a few hours here and there on the phone, and even that, you really don't understand each other the way you think you do. And people will disagree with me, but these quote relationships that we're building, on these platforms are to some degree superficial. They just are. You can't take that element
on a social superficial level. I agree with that. I think coming into it, I was naive to that.
That was me 10 years ago. That story I just told you, that was me just naive as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And got scammed and got lied to and got ripped off and then got thrown under the bus. Just naive, like, what the hell's going on? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm the victim here. What, But on that note too, and this took me years to learn, which I'm still working on, but when we feel like we're a victim, there's one extra step that it helps to take. and that is when you have been victimized, and y'all please don't twist this into victim blaming bullshit. That's not what this is.
Right.
It's just nothing but helpful if you take it for what it is that anytime somebody causes me that kind of grief, maybe we've all had a partner that has lied and cheated and drug us through the mud, things like that. It's like if you take that one extra step while you're licking your wounds and go, what did I do to ask for this? And the immediate knee-jerk answer is nothing.
Right.
But, you know, going back 30 years ago, when I was prancing my Barbie doll bleached blonde ass around in, you know, happy hour, and I ended up with this wonderful boyfriend who I spent off and on several years with, almost married him. But then when his pornography addiction and his penchant for strip clubs and stuff like that was a problem for me.
Me too.
And I was the victim. He was the bad guy, you know.
Right.
No, until I went, wait a minute. What was I doing when I met him? Where was I? How was I dressed?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so several of my past relationships, I don't want to get too deep into that, but I have done that where I have looked back and go, wait a minute, what was I, you know, quote, asking for? What was I attracting?
Right.
I think that might be a better word, but what was I attracting? And I have a thing for like getting really curious about the freaks and the weirdos in the world, there's people that are not run of the mill. And my God, I have stories all day long about the people I've met and the situations I've been in. Some of them are pretty exciting and everything, but what comes along with that is I end up just jumping head first into these clandestine personalities. And there's things that come along with that. It's like, oh, you wanted wild and weird. Well, here you go. You know, all the bad. So to get back to the point, I don't want to sound too lectury or anything. I've just had to do a lot of hard work on these matters. And so as it all applies in our day-to-day life, it applies at least as much, if not more so, in this realm that we're all bumping into each other on. I don't want to be so cynical, so I don't trust anybody, you know, but I don't assume jack shit. I don't assume nothing about these people that I'm observing on the internet.
Right.
I just keep that in a very.
When I had a conversation, I won't mention her because I know she doesn't want to be mentioned anymore. But when I had bonded with another creator, she told me, she said, I wished that I had not come here and given people my personal information. And I wish that I had taken a step back and observed more so that I saw that there was a whole lot of mentally ill here.
Right. Right. And I myself struggle with a lot of chronic health problems, and those health problems have gone on for 20 years or more. My nervous system is affected, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's taken me forever to really understand my own problems, but I've become very hyper aware of how things affect me because it's the only way I can heal. And it's the only way I can protect myself. And so I bring that to the table here personally. Like when I am in or observing somebody, whether it's live or replay chat, and there's 3 or 4 or 5 people on a panel, or even 2 sometimes, but it's the toxicity of it and the cussing and name calling. I mean, I was watching some of this stuff, you know, a couple of days ago, and I was just feeling so agitated, and I was like, why am I exposing myself to this? It's just making me sicker than I already was today.
Right.
And I was like, how many times today it was one of those days y'all all know where somebody goes live and then somebody else goes live and then the counterpart goes. It's just like lives all
That
day
was
long.
today. That was
You know,
today.
listen to somebody's obnoxious ass for like an hour,
Yeah.
and then the next person goes live and
Yeah,
they're
Constance
re-screaming.
totally refuses to hear the truth. I mean, she wants me to run with this narrative that, you know, we left and calls to sing. We left and he berated me every single day since I've left. And Sarah too, and Chaotic. And for a little bit, Sugar Pie and Alicia. And Knee
And I was only
Pads and Judo.
I was just
And
catching
so it's
wind
like,
of your earlier about the George thing. It was like I really couldn't put together what you were saying, but I know something happened. But the other day when I was getting so upset listening to certain voices or like nails on a chalkboard for me, in addition to the substance of what they're saying, their narrative, and so it's like that was agitating me. And I was like, I gotta quit exposing myself to this. And then the next person would go live and would be re-screaming that same person I just listened. It's like end up listening to these same obnoxious people 3 or 4 times throughout the day. But by the end of the day, I was like, how many times today have I heard screaming name calling? You know, like how many times just the P word I've heard like 20 times in one day out of this computer thing.
If you don't mind me interrupting you for a second and let me play a little clip for everybody. I'm not like the other creators that I'm up against. This is who I am, and this is what I'm willing to do it anytime. If y'all can read this real quick, I'll post it. And this goes for me. I don't know how Sarah feels about it. This is how it goes for me in my channel. I think that's fair.
I was laughing because that reminds me of the Sarah commercial when that music came on.
Yeah, I haven't played that in a while. I have to play that if she comes up today.
That's what made me giggle. I was waiting for Sarah.
So anytime I post any material at all that of you or you out there people, and you want me to remove it, just send me a message. Just shoot me a message and I'll remove it. Now, will they do the same for me? No.
Well, the social toxicity going on in all these little groups and subgroups, and I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all. That's why people don't see me in chats all that often. I'm a little sporadic with it. I'll get really social in chat for a little while, but then I can't take it. Plus, just communicating in live chat stresses me out. It really does.
Right.
I just have weird sensitivities. I can't type that much or that fast or keep up with the communication and rolling, moving text. I've never adapted to that, and I don't really want to.
Right.
I can tolerate it some days better than others. So I mean, that's why I'm just kind of I'm in, I'm out. I just kind of keep this stuff at arm's length arm's distance a lot of times. A lot of days because it's just too much for me. It took me, y'all, it took me like 40 damn years to figure out what toxicity is.
Right.
And figure out what it does to us psychologically.
Sometimes it just takes us 50 years to get all this, Sometimes it just takes, you know what I mean?
But that's what keeps going through the back of my mind. I'm going, do you want to be healthy and happy and peaceful or not? Like, why am I engaging with this community that is just making each other sick? It's making me sick, so that's my own personal issues with things. And I try to think of, 9 out of 10 people that I encounter on here, I'm kind of categorizing them as e-pals. These are not my sisters. These are not my close friends. I mean, there's just a different category for the social interaction. And that's just my take on it. I know that a lot of people don't consider it that way. I understand that. But I just can't get that engaged with ePal. It's like,
I understand
to a point. And I think we're all, it's natural that when we see wrongdoing and we see things that are unjust and we see lies and we see scams and we see this stuff, I get something out of calling it out. I get something out of seeing other people calling it out. I'm so grateful for people trying to right wrongs.
Right.
But in too many cases in this realm, some of the subculture that is trying to call out the shitty fucks are just as fucked up in their own way, and they're throwing their own psycho spin. It's just gotta get.
I just don't like that she thinks that I should take it off Jimbo, but not anybody else. I should take it and be quiet about it, and I will never do that. If I could just tell a quick story, real quick. This is pretty much why nothing shocks me or outrages me, so to speak. When people were saying, "Didn't that outrage you?" And you shouldn't be saying this because that's outrageous. Okay, well, I grew up with a mentally ill mother, as people know, and mentally ill was illness all throughout my siblings. And a particular sister, my mother had the most combative, argumentative. It always went physical. And she was sort of the, bought herself a new Camaro at 16, worked 3 jobs all the time, but was also a hellraiser. You know what I mean? She got everything that she needed to get done as far as responsibilities go, but she also liked to go drag race that Camaro. And so mom was always fighting with her and trying to get her not to go against the grain and be more like her older sister, who was, more prim, proper, and prissy. And I'll never forget when there was a period in time when my mother was in her mania of schizophrenia, and she had a home, but she felt safer sleeping on a park bench. And she was literally a buggy lady. And she and my sister they just had this incredibly toxic relationship. She was always the one my mom called when something went wrong, but yet she was also the one she called when it went wrong. And so so like I said, they had a very toxic relationship, but they were very codependent. And like when mom needed help with a bill, Joan went and hustled and made the money to pay that bill. You know what I mean? And my brother did too, and my older sister did too, but she really, really relied on this particular sibling of mine. And I'll never forget, she called my sister one time and she was cussing her out to high heaven, and just, on a payphone. And I'll never forget what my sister said to her. She said, "Mom, do you have any more quarters?" She said, "Well, no." And she hung up on her.
Oh, God. I don't mean to laugh.
Around cold-hearted shit my whole life. And there was another time when we were coming back from the beach, and my mom was raising hell on my sister's husband about the way he drove. And she picked her up. My mom was a very petite woman, and put her in the hatchback of the car until they got back from the beach.
Wait, who picked her? Who picked who up?
My sister picked up my mom, who was very petite, and made her ride in the hatch. She said, if you're going to go with me, you're going to shut the hell up and get in the hatch. And she made her ride in the hatch until we got back, which is a 3-hour drive. And so outrage, I don't get outraged. I've seen it my whole life. I don't get shocked. I just don't, I've gotten cold to that. And so when people say, "Well, you shouldn't have, stayed with so-and-so, why do you think I should take it off Jimbo? Why should I take it off him or Kemper?"
But what does she mean, take it off him? Like, let him off the hook for the way he's treating you?
She thinks that I should have just let him berate me and not have defended myself playing the 80s video Freedom. She thought that was so outrageous that I posted a Freedom video a couple
Oh.
days, or the day I left, or the night I left, or something like that. And I
Okay,
tagged Chaotic, and I tagged Sarah. How dare I? Oh my God. Clutch
Okay, that's what I was
your
catching
pear-
bits and pieces
pearls.
of earlier. Okay, that's what I was catching, but I didn't realize
So
who
I
was
just
on
wanted
the.
to make that point before I ended my live, that I don't
Yeah.
get outraged, and my opinion about the little tiger pill, it reminds me of Plankton trying to get the recipe to the patty. It just he reminds me of Plankton on the cartoon SpongeBob.
Well, you know, this is Ernie's MO. This is his thing. He's got pills to whatever supplements to sell. Then he's doing his pendants, and he's been through the action figures and the medallions and the classes and the membership and the, you know, and that's just what he keeps coming back to. That's all he knows.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
restructuring, you know, the same.
That's his hustle. That's his street hustle.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's that. To me, it's sort of like what was it that lady said up here? She said snake oil salesman. It reminds me of that, a snake oil salesman. But you know, that's a shtick. You know, everybody has a shtick.
Well, the circumstances of our modern social media and internet and this whole thing.
I'm not neighborhood watch.
It just provides such a platform for a different kind of social interaction, where you've got so many different people like that with different problems and different issues and different agendas and different modus operandi, and they're just showing up on the webcam, you know, all day, every day.
Yeah.
And there's something that traders talked about one day last week, and I get so, my chronic fatigue is so bad, y'all. Sometimes I have input, but I just don't have the energy.
I understand that completely. I really do.
And I think it was
who, Rosie? Who are you talking about? Put it down here. Who you're talking about? We'll talk about it.
Oh, I guess because I'm sitting here talking on the internet. I don't know. Excuse me.
So, but look what she's doing.
Look what she's doing. I guess she means because I'm sitting here talking on a.
I think she means Constance.
I don't know.
I would also like to know what is Easy and Constance. Do they really think that they have converted anyone? All these long hours and hours and hours of berating Nicolina. Do they really think that they've converted a single person? Has anyone left her camp because of this revelation that they should have gotten during all of this presentation?
Well, I don't even understand 12 hours of live streaming.
What is the goal?
I don't even get it. And who's listening to all that material for 12 hours a day, and where's the rest of their life? I just don't get it. Oh, I know what I was going to say real quick.
I would assume people float in and float out, I guess, but how does she
They have to, yeah. But on Traders Live one day last week, Spooky had typed in chat, and she had said something about the Tulpa energy. And that's kind of when two people create an energy between them, you know, like hate bonding kind of is an example.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And what I was too tired to engage in, but I was sitting here, you know, thinking and biting. I was just wanting to get on live chat and engage.
Yeah, I don't hate anybody. Like I said in the beginning of, I hope everybody keeps their channel. I do.
Well, there's
something, makes it more
fun. In addition to the Tulpa reference, of energy forms, thought forms is what really those are categorized as thought forms. To take it to another level is there's something called egregores, egregore energy, and that is a giant collective thought form. That is groups of people, and you can apply this, you know, to what we're talking about, but to politics, to something going on in your town that, you know, people are disagreeing about, you get your protest going, things like that. Groups of people plugged into the same energy forms egregores, and this is the honest to God truth. I see your comment, Rosie. I see. That, and I said this to somebody well over a year ago as I was tiptoeing into this community that we're talking about here. I mean, I've been in this for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
I tried to explain this to somebody because I saw it immediately. I said, what this is egregores of energy. These live chats, these groups, it's egregores of energy where everybody starts feeling each other's emotion, and it takes on like one big lump of emotion. Does that make any sense? I'm probably stuck at explaining.
Absolutely, it does.
I saw that a long time ago. As I first entered into this, I was, and I won't drag this out, but I'm in true crime. I was following Summer Wells, and that's how I stumbled into the sideline of Ernie and the stand and all of that. And that's how the rest of it came about. It's how I learned about Nicolina and then rap. And I think Benny, I already knew him from the Summer Wells stuff. But that's what was all going on. And you can take that theory and apply it to, there's all kinds of other sub-communities on this platform exactly like this one that we're familiar with each other. And sometimes when I'm just scrolling my YouTube feed, just looking for something to a podcast or something, I will sometimes get these thumbnails and these community posts from channels I've never even heard of before. There's not people that I watch. It's just crap that YouTube throws in my feed.
Yeah, right.
And
I like it. I like that they do that.
but I will very often catch the same exact kind of exchanges going on. People calling people out, people scamming people. It's the exact same thing going on in all these other little sub-communities.
Right.
It's not just that. This is like a blanketed, activity in this social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I, we could get off here and leave this community and never come back. And go start socializing in some other YouTube community, and we're going to run into the exact.
That's right. Like, let's say Reddit.
Thing.
Right. Yep. Yep. There's something wrong with our social interactions, isn't it?
Those are all energy egregores. They build up and they attract certain kind of people.
Right.
Start magnetizing to each other by their opinions. By whatever.
It's funny that you say it like that, because my dad, he seemed to just attract the mentally ill. He was very good looking, and everyone says that their dad looked like Elvis. Mine really did, and he's like 85.
I've seen pictures of him. Oh,
yeah, very dark skinned and good looking. Wore a suit and tie most of his life. Thank you. And he always smelled good too. But anyway, he said he always felt like that God gave him a magnet on the top of his forehead, and that if there was a crazy woman within a 2-mile radius of him, he'd fall in love with her. I don't know. I was like, why am I attracting all these women? And they would stalk them and just go crazy.
Well, that a little bit goes back to what I was saying earlier about, when we find ourselves kind of repeating patterns with similar type people, boyfriends, girlfriends, jobs, whatever. You have to, it's good to go a level deeper and go, what am I bringing into this? What am I doing that's attracting me over and over to the same thing? And until you figure out what it is about you that has you in this, you'll keep attracting the same.
Right.
Yes, I saw that comment. And you'll keep attracting the same thing, but you have to figure out why and how that's happening. I'm just saying it's very helpful to do.
A lot of reflection. A lot of people don't like to do that. A lot of people
they don't.
Like
and it's also known, if you look at Carl Jung's psychology work, it's also known as shadow work or dark night of the soul. It's when you look more into yourself for answers than you do when you're distracted by blaming all the people that are doing shit to you around you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. You're not wrong about that. That's a bad person. That's legitimate. You're not giving them a pass, but you're going, how did I end up not seeing what I should have seen? Just like you and I were saying earlier, when we were naive at some point, we got entangled in messes with toxic people because we were naive. Well, nobody's blaming you for being naive. but find that in yourself and go, oh, I identify with that element in this now. And the next
No,
time
let me
I come,
segue. Let me
go
segue.
ahead.
Let me segue real quick. This is
Okay.
something that I agree with you 100%. And there are names for these things. There are labels for these things. And if you're interested in improving those things in yourself, sometimes they might be a personality disorder. And take, for
Right?
instance, avoidant personality disorder. That is called denial. When you
Absolutely.
refuse to look at the issues that you really need to address in yourself. Take, for instance, if you have not addressed abuse in your childhood, it manifests into other addiction or um, you know, things that are not productive, counterproductive to your life and your well-being. And so that's
Exactly.
why it's so important. People say, well, I hate labels. I hate labels. Well, labels help you identify what it is, and then you can tackle it. You can go to the library or the internet or wherever, your doctor, wherever, your spiritual guide, your
Hmm.
life coach, and then you can tackle that problem because you can identify it, you know. So your mental
I
health
have,
is just as important as your physical health. You would have to identify a mosquito bite. Well, then you have to
thank you.
identify what's going on.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
second one that I shared also was histrionic personality disorder, the
Right.
overdramatic. Okay, so those are two that I've seen this week in our neighborhood.
I
I
was going
won't
to say
say
a
who
couple of
they are,
names popped right to mind when you said that.
definitely histrionic personality disorder, the person that is
Yeah.
over dramatic. So
Yeah.
those are two things that I shared on my community wall. If anyone, they're just quick 4 minute, this is what it is. If you think this sounds like you, there you go. Delve into it and you'll start peeling the layers of your onion and getting to the core of who you are and your true self.
Very well said, Gypsy. And I can only attest that, I mean, I'm about to turn 61 years old. And
No way. God, you look younger than
yeah,
me. You look
yeah,
good.
it's real close to 61. Um,
Son.
which I don't mind. It's just that I want to be enjoying this stage of my life as much as I can. And what I'm alluding to right now is like a decade long journey of I've raised kids, I've overcome trauma. Well, I use that term loosely. Have I overcome it? Probably not, or I wouldn't be struggling as much now. But searching that out and everything we just talked about, looking at your adversaries, looking at your maybe family relationship problems, looking at all of the not okay things in your life and doing that shadow work. And when I started, I won't use the word even studying, but I was just recognizing and looking deeper and then looking a little deeper and I started kind of bringing me, like you were just alluding to, into the psychology behind things.
Everything you
And
do. Yep.
I was able to see how people that I felt like were so misunderstanding me and mistreating me and not there when I needed them. But then I had to look at what did I do to manifest that situation.
Absolutely. You have to look at yourself. That's called
Yeah.
humility. You
And
have
it
to
kind
have
of segued me
humility.
from blaming these other bad
Yes,
people
it's
for
not
not being there
always
like
the
they
other
should.
person. Sometimes it's you, and you have to
And
admit that.
that revelation does not mean that those people aren't dropping the ball on you. It's true. It's a
Right,
thing. But that's
right.
not where it ends. And that's not where you find your healing from it. And that's not how you fix it if you just stop at
Okay,
that. So,
one more point I want to make about denial, because this is why I wanted to go live. And I'm so glad that Remain Calm came and we got to touch on the Summer Wells case. Denial is dangerous because someone could be messing with your child, but you're too much in denial to admit that there's something happening. And that child stays in abuse because you don't want to, I call it the blue diamond. You won't look at what is going on in your life. It's icky. You would rather live in hoarding situation or live in addiction or live in, I call it hell on earth, rather than
mm,
face the abuse that probably happened to you and why you are denying that that is happening in your life. It could be anything, not just child abuse. It could be, you know, you're not realizing in yourself that maybe you have a gambling issue and you're in
Yeah.
denial about that. You really think you have it under control and you don't. That's something that
And,
I had to learn about myself, was like when
and
I was
that
partying and having a
denial,
good time and everybody was calling me a good time party chick, and I had my
uh-huh.
house and I had my kids and I was a single woman, and everyone said,
Oh,
how do
you
you,
can mask a
they said,
lot. You can make it
yes,
appear that you're living your best
I've
life
got it
when,
all under control, and I
and
crashed
when
and
you
I
don't,
burned.
and you're in denial of it, and you're not looking into these deeper layers about
It
yourself,
manifests.
it
Yeah, absolutely.
what it does is you don't realize that you are a toxic person now. You have
Yes,
carried, I'm not saying you know that, but
absolutely.
but
Yes.
but the damage and the hurt that's come to you, you carry that, it turns you into the toxic person. And now that's what you're putting out there. And you don't
Right.
even realize it. You don't even
Yes, this is
realize it.
Sandy Says, Nicolina. This is Sandy Says. So, well,
But
on that
I
note,
just, I see
yeah.
that as being a good point to share with anybody who's open to hearing it and, you know,
And
digesting it a little
those
bit.
that are open to self assessment, self reflection, and self analysis, as Sarah says right here.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was a great
because it
comment.
all
Yeah.
starts with yourself. You know, you are why people don't like you,
Yes,
right?
very well said.
Right? I mean, seriously, pretty much
But
we have to own that. We have to own
there's
that,
some
you know.
people who will be nowhere near ready to assimilate that.
Right.
You know, I don't know if somebody had said this, explained this to me 20 years ago, if I would have gotten it, you know. I don't know. I might have, you know, gotten a surface level of it, but I don't know if I would have gone deep enough to do the work that I have found myself doing for the last decade. And it's hard.
Yeah,
Because you have to do a lot of reflection on a lot
you
of
do.
different
And it
encounters
hurts.
and different relationships have gone. You have to really look at, because once the light bulb starts going off, see if you agree with me here, Jesse, when the light bulb starts going off in that reflection, well, you have to go back and reassess all these relationships and instances and situations that you have a
Absolutely.
completely different perspective. So it's exhausting because you do have to go back through all that with a different set of eyes, you know, on it.
Yeah.
And it's work. It's work.
Yeah.
But, you know, you have to treat yourself at the same time. Like I said earlier, please don't twist this into victim blaming or anything like that. I mean,
Right, right.
own what toxic people have done to you or caused problems for you. It doesn't change that,
Yeah.
but it does help you change you, or change the effect it's had on you, or change the things that are going on in your world today and right now that you don't realize are connected to that. Yes, JP, light bulb moments are real. They are so real.
Levisi says, wow, Hawkins County Judge Boyd, juvenile judge over Candace and Don's case, has been indicted. Excuse me.
I think I saw a headline on that. I don't remember if I saw the whole actual details of the story, but I do know I saw a couple of news headlines about that. That place, my goodness. Hawkins County, that place is just creepy.
It's the pit of hell, isn't it? Sounds like to me. It's
oh, Manchester Vicky, you're always so sweet to me. Thank you. She's always so nice. I've only been on your panel 2 or 3 times, but Vicky's always so complimentary. Makes me feel better because I'm self-conscious about getting on these panels.
I love you. Thank you, Truth Be Told.
I'm terrible at my thought streams, you know, like keeping my flow going.
It is hard. It is hard because there's so much you want to get
my
out,
thoughts,
right?
because I'm having 10 thoughts at one time and trying to give you one of the thoughts instead of the other 9.
Right, absolutely. What was the other?
But also, Vicki, that I'm still doing a lot of work, but the logic and the sense comes from me working on everything Gypsy and I have just been talking about. Like, you know, if you'd sat here with me 10 years ago, this is not the conversation I would have been having. You know, I can tell you what I would be doing right now. If this was 10 years ago, I would be barking and screaming about Blow Joe and Sally Sue and, just going on. But this is being regurgitated over and over all day, every day.
Yeah.
So, where, thank you.
It's almost like a brainwashing, isn't it?
Yes, and that's what I'm just sitting here in my own little bubble over here, kind of staying out of the mix, but observing, and it just pains me to see people doing this to themselves or having other people, create a home for this. And then it just goes on and on and on. I mean, some people have been here as long as me or even longer. Some people not so long, but these are the same people doing the same fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same people screaming about it over and over. And like, where does this go? What's the end game here? Because you know what?
Yeah.
I could probably log off here right now and not get in any of these live streams or watch any of these video playbacks again for like 3 months. And what would I be seeing when I log back in 3 months from now? What are we seeing and hearing?
Yeah.
A lot of the same people doing the same shit. There might be some other, like we had Easy show up and, there'll be some new people that come floating by and pick up the crumbs and cherry. But I don't know. I'm just asking, like, how does this get okay for people? How does everybody get to, live their best life here on YouTube?
Well, let me ask you something. Do you think that this is like, what is it they called it back when they had switchboards and all the women would get together and gossip about the town? What did they call that? It wasn't
the party line.
The party line. That's it. Do you think it's kind of like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in the background. There's some of these folks, I can't tell you if they are just dense and can't keep details and facts straight, or if they, they just hear things wrong right out of the gate and then they go spread it to 12 other people and other chats. And
they're processing information completely different.
Yeah. And so somebody will say something or allude to something,
and they don't pick up on social cues. They're not picking up on social cues.
Somebody who's already hating on that person. If it's somebody they don't like already, that person says something and it gets immediately twisted into something it never was, and then it gets spread to the whole community. So-and-so said this, did this, called that person, did that. It goes on and on like that. It's so convoluted all the time. It's so
right.
I'm not picking on Easy, but y'all are bringing him up. I mean, so he comes in, he doesn't know a lot of the backstory on a lot of things.
And they just hand over their years and a half of work and go, here you go. And he's running his channel off old tapes.
I left a comment on Rep's community post a day or two ago. He made some simple community post about, Easy just doesn't do the background work. He doesn't understand the background of all this stuff like we do. And my response to him was, and this was just my opinion to share about what I was observing with Easy, is that that was me, like, literally having an allergy moment. I'm not sniffing cocaine over here or whatever. My nose is itching right off my face at the moment.
Join the crowd. Everybody else.
My comment or response to it was, and this is my opinion, it's just that what I see Easy doing is he's jumped on YouTube. That's his new gig. He came across this community, some of the players in this community, and he's weeding through all that backstory for 8 and 10, 12 hours live. He's banking up view hours out of it, building his channel.
I know.
Instead of watching people's videos, going back through the old material. I do that a lot. When I see somebody new, I go back through the old material. But instead of learning who these people are, what they've done or not done, or, whatever, and then coming to YouTube with his opinions about it, or panels and things, he's just popping on there and learning as he goes and letting people come up and scream at each other while he, fills in the blank. So whatever, that's his thing. I don't get it. It's not for me.
Right.
It's not for me. I know that there's too much screaming and yelling and foul name calling going back and forth all day long on here in general, and it isn't changing anything. It's
We're
just
at
a
the
lot
wrestling
of,
rink. Remember, Sandy? We're at the wrestling
oh
rink.
God,
That's all they
it,
do
it,
is scream at each other and have heart
it's
attacks.
just a lot of slandering and attacking. And what
Yeah.
happens is, and I'm just going into too much of this now, but what happens is it does get so elevated and so confusing because there are so many twisted things being put out. Then there, like I was saying earlier, somebody says something that's a legitimate, sane comment, and then it gets turned into something completely different. And then you've got 200 people believing the second version of it.
Right.
That's going on every day. And the people that do need to be called out, who are pulling bullshit, that gets mixed in with all of the convoluted shit. So
Right.
just use an easy as another example. Somebody that has not gone through step by step of this and just pops in here and you've got this sea of people, you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue what reality is, what's fact and what's twisted and what's just completely 100%
And like Sarah
fabricated
says right
bullshit.
here, what's been deleted? She says right here, too much has been deleted.
But that's a
Yeah.
good point right there. Yeah, that's a very good point right there. Very, very true point, Sarah. So I don't have any answers. I'm just saying this shit makes me sick. It makes me unwell. I'm too old for this crap. but
We
yet
don't
it's
have
almost,
much time left, do we?
yeah, I mean, I've literally have been working on my estate planning for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, bless your heart. I bet that is
Literally,
a
like I have
headache.
an old will because I was a widow very early in life with 2 babies, and so I had a will when I was 25 years old, 26 years old. I
Same
had a
here.
will,
Same here. My company
and
made me do it
you
because I was a
understand it. And
traveler.
so then when the kids got over age 18, I got a new will done because we didn't need guardians named and stuff for raising underage, minors. So when they were grown, I did another will, and now I'm trying to reassess all that again because I think that one was done in 2006. And so no, literally just I'm facing this weird chapter of my life and planning, estate planning, things like that. And my mother's in a nursing home with Alzheimer's, which has
Oh,
had
bless
me
your heart.
fucking wrecked since January. I mean, this whole year, it's just been like an undercurrent in my already bad health and struggling, domestic life situation. So I don't want to, get off into all that. But where does this shit fit into my world is what was the point
Yeah.
I'm trying to make. Like,
Yeah.
and it just pains me to see so many other people getting immersed into it when it's just some good comes out of some things some days, yes. But the overall is just a lot of angry screaming and deflecting
I've
lies.
noticed this is why I think that avoidant personality disorder is happening with Constance. When you listen to her give her narrative, she'll say, so to speak, you didn't need a bridge to escape. No, I could just hear because I live with someone like that. She's
the
already
semantics.
she already answers it. No. The answer is yes. Yes. Could you accept that? And the answer is no. She could never accept that. That one tiny
The
detail
semantics
obviously
just gets on my
needed to
nerves.
happen. It obviously needed to happen because it happened with several people, not just one.
Exactly.
How
And
can
I
you be
will
in denial about that? So it makes you wonder, what is she in denial of else in her life?
elsewhere in her world, right?
Yes.
Exactly. And the
Yes.
semantics of all this shit that goes on, like
absolutely.
if
What
you
else
if
are
you
you
walk away
denying?
from a malignant piece of shit narcissist,
Mhm.
they are gonna spin it, and for
Oh,
people,
yes.
that person or anybody else around them to say, oh, you weren't changed, you were
Because
free to
it has to
go.
be that narrative for them, because if it's something else, that means they have to change their whole thought process. I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know. or if it's
Well,
actually that they're afraid of having an epiphany with themselves and saying, what else am I denying in my life? What else am I turning away and burying myself in a hoard to keep from addressing?
uh-huh. Well, the semantics just irritates me. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you can paint it with that brush that nobody said this or threatened you or blah, blah, blah. If you left, you weren't stuck in a cult, you were free, you're always free to go. That is such fucking
That's
bullshit.
bullshit.
When
That's
you see
bullshit.
how
That's
certain
bullshit.
personalities
All you
treat
have to do is look
anybody,
through all my screenshots where Leslie was
yeah,
berating me, where
when you
Jimbo
see,
berated me, Kemper berated me. I mean, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? And you think that
yeah,
I should
that's
just sit
not
there and take it?
somebody who feels
You
at
might
peace
live
and
in
free will.
domestic violence where a man does that to you, but I
Right.
don't. I've always stood up for myself. And when they were bigger than me and they did me that way, I called the law. So, I don't let men abuse me. I
Yeah,
don't let it
so people
happen.
can say you're free to do this, you're nobody threatened you.
That was a lie. That is a lie. That is
That
a
is
thought process
semantic.
that yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The
Because
minute
if
I
you
said, "Here's my
from
rent,"
observation,
the minute I said,
if
"Here's
you
my
do
rent,"
leave,
he started berating me. Yeah, so
hmm if you know, you
and
already
and
know
and I
what's going to
happen to
happen.
know his PR girl said, "Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. It's the death of your channel. Don't do this." And what did he listen to her? No. His ego and his buddy knew more than a PR girl.
hmm
I bet he wishes he listened to her now. She was his friend and she cared about him and pretty much cut off a lot of relationships here to White Knight for him. And she said, "Don't do it like this. Don't do it like this." And he, well, here you go. This is what you get when you do it your way. You're too
Because he
egocentric
won't.
to hear advice and listen to advice and listen to the people that are giving you money. This is what we want you to do. He didn't, he won't, yeah. Well, now that's why you've only got 44 in your chat.
But you're absolutely right, and there's quite a few people around like that who pretend that they're not threatening or harming anybody, but there's an unspoken threat. There's an
Absolutely.
observation of how people get
Absolutely.
treated. It's an
Well,
established
his wife did threaten
foundation.
us. And then he sends
You're
my
going to get
husband some
slandered. You're
stupid
going to get
ass
called a
message.
psycho bitch. You're going to get
Absolutely.
doxxed. You're going to, we see how
I've
you
been
treat
called
people.
that all. That's why I called Leslie lazy. Go get some new material. I mean, you're calling us stuff from the 70s. You know what I mean? Are you Heffa? Are you serious? Go get a dictionary of troll words or something.
Well, here's the other thing, Gypsy, is that when somebody decides that whether it's founded or reasons or not, and they decide that they've got something against another person. And I see this going rampant around here too. And just while I'm going down my list, okay?
I've got one too. As you talk, I talk.
When somebody decides they've been done wrong or whatever reason, they've got something against somebody now.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on the matter at hand, like what is wrong about what caused you to become, an adversary of that person. Instead of just that, they've got to just dig right into every personal text message that they swap in trust and confidence. They've got to share every fucking email. They've got to tattletale about whose uncle's mama was working for Hitler. I mean, my fucking God. If you've got a problem with somebody, address the problem.
Exactly.
My point that now I'm yelling, see, I hate that when I get like that. But
I feel the same way.
if you were associates with somebody and then you decide you've got a reason not to be associates or dislike something they stand for or something they did, then fine. Have an opinion about that. Speak on it. But if the same things that you're trying to dig up to hurt that person with are the things that was shared in your friendship when you were friends. Yeah. And if you turn right around and somebody that you're still friends with and X, Y, Z, you would never expose personal stuff like that.
That's why I never
because of
told
your
anything
friends.
that that's why and I'm an open book anyway. Hell, I mean, I'll tell you more than you want to know about me. But my
And
point
that's
is,
again, go ahead.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You know, it's like everybody told me that before I became a creator. And it's like you know, you don't think that I sat and thought before I press send every single time, and before I go
Right,
live, I say, "Am
right.
I in the right mind space?"
hmm And that makes us like, there's no trust in the community. Like people are either too trusting or can't trust enough to even build relationships because you don't want to text people, you don't want to email people because you don't know 2 weeks or a month or 2 months from now what that relationship is going to be, depending on what the rest of the community is throwing in the pot. And then all of a sudden, all your personal correspondence is being turned
This
into
is
something else
honestly
and
how
used to
I
get.
treat people. Yeah, I agree with you. I treat people like they're gonna turn on me in a week. That's how I treat everybody now. From now
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
after it happened to me so many times, and
So that
on a
upsets
personal
me.
level, I'm just gonna treat everybody like, yeah, you're probably gonna turn on me next week.
That upsets me too, is seeing so much of that going on in all the little subculture camps. Everybody just goes straight to pulling out everything they can find and use and twist and cause harm to people about. And people on all sides of this have done this. I've seen it. Okay, I've watched y'all doing it.
Right.
And I just don't get it. Like in my past, I have had associations with people that confided very personal things to me.
Right.
And even when they turned on me, I mean, one of them that I have in mind right now was I'm not going to use any names to compare, but one of them was a straight up freaking sociopath.
Yeah.
Just textbook. This is as I was naively learning curve about what am I doing around these kind of people. I thought we were friends. We talked about personal things, both of us. And he just pulled out everything I'd ever told him and twisted it into something it never was when he decided it was discard time and slander time. And I never, even when he was doing all of that wrongfully to me, I never once disclosed the shit that he told me when we were friends.
Mm-hmm.
That I could have just buried him with.
Right.
But why? His behavior is
I
bad
guess
enough that I can shine
we're
a
made
light.
different, ain't we?
I can shine a light on what he is doing to me. I don't need to dig up something he told me about his childhood, to try to hurt him back or expose. It's called confidence, and a little integrity. So I wish people would stop doing that.
I do too. It's like, what are you gonna do? Go back to kindergarten? Go? You took that little girl's crayon.
Yeah. You did this, you did that, 30 years ago, you piece of shit.
Right.
Well, if they're a piece of shit, talk about what they did to you right now, or they're doing to somebody else right now that makes
there you go. What are you going to do about it? I suck.
And this just circles us back to a popular topic of when you're against somebody, you're angry at somebody, instead of saying what they did or what you're accusing them of doing that made you angry, they're a fat, psychotic, dumb bitch. Why are they fat now? They weren't fat a month ago when they were your pal. They're only fat because now you hate them. You need to pull out what. So I get upset about people, going after people's looks and
when they do that though, Sandy, all I can think of is that's all they got on me. I mean, I'm in here with people like the Wells and what all they're into, and the only thing that I've got bad on me is my weight. I'm doing good.
That is exactly the point, though. If you have such an angry point to make about somebody, you totally degrade and negate that, if it was ever valid, by going to making fun of their appearance, or that means you don't have a leg to stand on about slandering this person.
Exactly. You got to make it up.
And I'm just ranting on that because it's something that doesn't happen
it's the truth.
Every once in a while. It happens way too much all day, every day.
Yeah, and exaggerating details.
I get
She
angry
put
too,
the George Michael video up. Well, God bless. Let's take her out like she's Joan of Arc. She likes George Michael.
Rosie is, you're absolutely right. It's pretty shitty when you're nothing but a friend to someone and then they turn on you for no reason.
Yep.
And they make up a reason or they twist a reason. And yes, Nicolina, you have to.
Right, right.
And I can't think of the exact examples, but I know when I was talking about the semantics of people taking a comment that somebody made and tweeting, I know that Nicolina, I don't know the specific examples in my memory, but I know she's one that's been done to. I know that she's done and said something that was a simple, basic, logical comment, and then somebody take it and twist it upside down and backwards and run to hell and back with it.
Yeah. I feel like the Tigers and the Stand have the same mentality. They're out to get us if they're not with us.
Well, remember a few minutes ago talking about the egregore of energy and like Spooky called it the tulpa thought form. Right. That is an example of that. When you're in a private chat or a live chat or whatever in these little groups, and when one person expresses their anger at somebody you're also angry at or disapprove of, and one person starts spewing, making fun of their appearance in some way, just throwing all that into, well, all the other people will start jumping on board and behaving the same way.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put one person out of that
I feel like some of that, like Sarah brought this up to my attention. She said she feels like sometimes they're clout riders, like brown nosers. When you're in a corporate America, there's brown nosers. Boy, do we have some of those, don't we?
We could do a whole nother show on
brown nosers.
People needing to belong to something so desperately that they can't even see.
Right.
There's some of that goes on. That's human nature. A lot of people struggle with that they need to belong to something. And when you get plugged into a community and people are calling you these sweet names and everybody's, giving you virtual hugs and kisses all day long, well, what are you going to do? You're in a club now,
Right.
you're in a club now, and there's a social element to that. So, and that's kind of natural, but I'm just suggesting that people look at it from that angle, like, why am I here and why am I saying, if I were just angry at this one person that we're all angry at, but if it was just me angry or disapproving of something this person just did, how would I be addressing that? Versus how am I addressing it because I'm in a group, I'm in a gang, I'm in a club, and we're all just going to start, our warrior song,
Yeah. Sometimes I use verbiage because I know it's going to piss certain people off.
Oh yeah, it's catered to their specific.
I know that they hate that I use the word cult or Scientology. Well, if you don't like it, quit acting like them. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep using it now that I know it's your Achilles heel. And the freedom video, now I know that's your Achilles heel. I'm going to use it all the fucking time.
But if you think of that in terms of what I was just describing about people needing to belong to something, that's where, if you name a group or a person in a group like you're acting like you're in a cult and they kick and scream about it, maybe they do need to stop and go, is this cult behavior? Do I know how to recognize cult behavior? Do they even know how to recognize it? So just a lot of self-reflection needs.
I forgot all about the Eagles. You're right, Sarah. The Eagles they think that we're getting ready to, that's LARPing, baby. That is LARPing. We're at the Renaissance Festival. It's just here online. We all have swords and we're all dressed in Renaissance attire. Right.
I'm just now seeing her comment about the eagle. Now, who are the Eagles? Or is she just making that up?
That's Mama T's. Mama T's.
Oh, Teagle. Oh, God. Well, these are my quiet inner narrative that I have with just myself when I'm just stuff playing in the background around me during the day. And I'm like, I'm 61 fucking years old. I don't want to be anybody's cub or tiger or bear or rabbit or nothing.
Yeah. Sarah says there is lots of cult-like behavior on this platform. Absolutely. The us versus them mentality. Absolutely.
And that is another really good point that Sarah just brought up. Is that's an element in this. I'm not saying it's that big a deal to, start your little channel and have your little mascot names and things like that. It's harmless on the surface, but it also is another very real element in this gang mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah just brought up an excellent point. You're in a little community, and now everybody has this matching, street gang icon to identify with, and I just don't do that.
Well, why did everybody get outraged when what's the guy's name that's Hunter's dad?
Andrew.
When he had bears.
He had bears?
He had some kind of bear thing up, or a bear. He had something. It was, and everybody said,
he
"Oh,
did
you're
a lot
pedo.
of panda bear
pedo."
shit. He was doing pandas.
What's the difference?
Is that what you're talking about? Is pandas?
Yeah. He had some sort of a panda something up behind him or something like that, and everybody asked him, "You're a pedo. You're a pedo if you're into pandas." Well, the first thing my husband said when he saw this dude was, "Why's he got that panda bear?" And I said, "Why do you think it's a panda?" He said, "Well, it just kind of looks odd. It stands out."
Well, at some point right around there, he put like a panda icon on his username even. Like he was rubbing it in everybody's face. And I don't know if he was mocking the accusations people were making about the pandas or if he was owning it. I didn't know.
Okay, she says it's often associated with trafficking.
Yeah. And I don't want to dig us into this rabbit hole, but that picture of Summer with what's Jody Sue's son's name, Booger or whatever she calls it.
Yeah.
That in the pool at the Wells house. Have y'all seen that picture?
Yes.
What is her son's name? Jody
I know who you mean though.
Dadgummit. See, I had my head out of that for so long now that the details are escaping me. But that was a panda swimming pool in their front yard. Now, coincidence?
Oh yeah.
Summer was in a panda swimming pool. I mean, some things like that. It's like these are the rabbit holes I try to stay out of because I stayed way deep in them for a long time, and it was just not healthy. At some point, there's so many things you're never going to know answers to, and it just drives you crazy. But yeah. Andrew had panda, which is often associated with trafficking. Shannon video.
Drop the link for Shannon if you know it. If anybody has
Shannon in here, God, I love.
Oh, you know what? I just the Shannon video made me cry laughing, and Sarah says, "Me too." Y'all give us the link. We want to laugh.
I just realized I'm not on live chat. I was just seeing top chat, so I wasn't seeing all the comments.
Hey,
Is Shannon in here? God, I have been taking such a liking to Shannon lately. I've been watching her a lot.
She looks and sounds exactly like my husband's second wife, and some of them lived from on the coast too. And when I watch her, I feel like I'm watching his ex-wife, and so it's like, oh wow, that's great. Let me go get my popcorn. And some people just have a good personality, for this kind of thing.
Well, now I can't say what I was just going to say. Fuck, that's not going to work. I was just going to say that Shannon reminds me of me if I had a channel. You're like, oh, somebody's a delegate person now.
Well, you should have one. Everyone would come. Everyone really enjoys
that's what I'm worried about.
Your perspective.
That's what I'm worried about. Everybody would come, start harassing me and doxing me and fucking me up. And man, there's one element of my personality that I do have to tame at this stage of life. But I mean, you remember, Gypsy, when I was on the phone with you, I was coming apart at seams that day. I was just ranting and carrying on. And but I was telling you then that day, I said, if I had a channel, if people start coming after me, like even if I don't have a channel, just now, I mean, if people start fucking with me, there's a little trap door maybe you don't want to open.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I try to avoid getting in too much trouble because
I don't
have the energy to do what I would do.
Right. I understand.
So, but I do enjoy listening to Shannon. She's cool.
Oh, there it is. Okay, she's called it Shannon's Lightning Beaver video. Thank you very much.
Now, is this something real new that she just put up?
Is this new, y'all?
I just opened that link, but I don't want it to start playing. Okay, it's on mute.
Lightning Beaver.
Lightning Beaver Members Association Club Organization Society. Oh my God, I can't wait to play that.
She said it's new.
She just put it up like 20 minutes ago. She did. She put y'all go look at her community post too. I did see that this morning, and I could never quote it exactly, but it said, medical, my medical's worse than your medical, and my medical's more medical than your medical is, and let's talk about our medical.
Chaotic says the House of Chaos is now accepting applications. Here's our cult pamphlet. I like that name, House of Chaos.
Chaotic, have you put up any more videos of your decor? I know you're still working on it. I saw you say that somewhere.
House of Chaos. I like that.
Sarah, thank you for putting that link in there. I want to watch Shannon's video in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, guys, I'm gonna head off and go get my laundry done. And
I was just gonna say, Gypsy, I have to talk to you offline sometime soon. I have been up to my eyeballs planning a journey to Northern California.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I told you I'm going to be going to Portland, it looks like. Yeah.
That's what made me think of you, because you were just talking. And honestly, I'll just tell you this part real quick and we'll get off here.
Okay.
The other day, I was at my wit's end of hours, several different days, trying to figure out how to get my sick, tired ass from Central Florida to Northern California.
Right.
And as we all know, especially our age, flying and travel plans are not what they used to be.
Exactly.
And I was absolutely losing it. I mean, I called my son bawling, and I don't cry. I'm very rare to get upset like that. But I was just such at my wit's end. And that was the same day you started talking about your son moving so far away. And I was like, I cannot talk to Gypsy about this today. This is the wrong day to tell her. I'm losing my mind trying to get to my son so far away. But anyway, so I was going to talk to you offline sometime about what I've been doing the last couple of weeks trying to make that glue together.
Too. Maybe we'll do that when we get back. We'll make a date and get our tattoos together.
Oh yeah, I got to tattoo my fire ant bite on my ankle.
A fire ant
Seriously,
bite.
it's like a year and a half old now, and it's still just a black dot on the top of my foot. Like it's never.
That's a good idea. Oh, you can make it into a ladybug.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Well,
I don't have any
coming. Yeah, well,
thanks for letting me up and jabber and rant. You know how I always do.
I love it. We all enjoy you so much, and your perspective is always an educated one. So I really enjoy it.
Well, I
love you to death.
Thank you. I hope that it's helpful and not too overbearing and
not at all.
Snotty.
I hope it resonates with the right people.
I mean, I just try to share what I've been through, and then what I observe, the perspective I have on things I see now because of the work I've been doing on myself to cope with my life and the rest of the world, and how that applies to what I see in this community. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to upset people. And I know, remember the last time I was up here, I was not happy with the way I handled that, because that's when I understand that I'm still too reactive because I was yelling and angry too much. I just got worked right up, you know, and I didn't like behaving that way while I'm calling other people out for behaving that way. But then I was, offended Constance because I wasn't directing it at her. I was being very
this place
gentle.
Will bring out the redneck in us, won't it?
I was just saying, like, how I'll sit here reading these live chats sometimes and I'm just like, how can you be that fucking dumb, people? Like people just can't get, And she got off. Oh no, you're calling us slow. It's like whatever. Maybe I am. I guess I don't know. But can you work on that then? Because I had to work on that some too. But I don't mean to offend people, but I can be a little aggressive with my opinions sometimes.
I think you're fine. I love you to death.
Thank you, Sarah. Gamer girl, y'all are so nice.
Yeah, we really enjoy you, big time.
Well,
I want to go do laundry, and I'll see you guys, I'm sure, out in the street somewhere tonight, and probably back here tomorrow about the same time.
Everybody just try to keep some peace, keep things dialed down for yourselves and each other. That's my motto for the day. And I'm with you, Gypsy. I got to get back to work on some things.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Okay. Bye.
Following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Life is harder than I like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm